We're back,
Where in
baby.
the world are you right now, Yanko? Are
Shit, that was
you at
way too
home?
loud. What? No, I'm still.
You're still on vacation?
Yeah, I'm still in Greece. I'm going back in 2 days.
Oh,
Back home in 2 days.
Yeah,
Or back
yeah.
to
On
Greece.
Thursday, I'm going back home on Thursday. You know, man, I fucking love Greece.
It's like a 10, 11-day trip that you're on? 12 days?
10 days. 10 days, man. It's the same place I was at last year, right outside of Athens. It's real nice. And also, you know, last year I went here, and then the second time we went, because, you know, when you don't do Blast and some of the other stuff, you have a longer player break. And we were like, where should we go? Let's just, you know, let's not go to Greece again. Like, let's change it up. And we went to Mallorca, and it was fine. It was okay. But, bro, I'm just coming back to Greece all the time because of multiple of reasons. First of all, I don't care if anyone cares about this. Fuck you all. Serbians in Greece, they fucking love us. They love us. So whenever I say, where are you from? I say Serbia. Oh, brother, Orthodox brothers. That's the first thing they say. The second thing they say is, which club? Do you cheer for the right club? That's always how they ask it, right? Which
Do you
means,
cheer for the right club?
yeah, which basically means like, you know, are you cheering for Partizan or Red Star? Because Red Star and Olympiacos from Athens are like, you know, how do you say it? Sister clubs, right? Like they support each other. And with Partizan, it's PAOK, which is not even from Athens. It's from Thessaloniki. So that's always like, okay, who it is. If it's a guy, that's like the thing he asks you. So I've been 50-50 so far on the trip. But yeah, man, the sea is like amazing. The water is so clean. The beaches are great. They have so many spots you can go to. Like there's so many islands you can go to. There's, you know, Halkidiki and these three fingers close to Thessaloniki.
South of Athens?
Yes, a little bit. It's Vouliameni is the suburb. I guess it's a little bit of a suburb of Athens.
Did you go to the Temple of Poseidon? That's the one thing I didn't get to see when I was there.
No, we're not really in a position to walk around for a long time or sightsee. But I mean, we were here last year. It was real cool. There's a couple of nice restaurants. There's a couple of nice beaches, and everything is walking distance, right? So it's awesome. Love Greek food. It's great. So yeah, I don't know, like, what could someone have as a con when it's like to come to Greece for vacation? I guess, let's say for you, Jason, it's far away. That's the one thing you could say, but I think for people...
we're looking into going to Crete a little bit later on.
Crete is awesome. Crete is amazing. I was there one time.
It is very far away, indeed.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's the biggest island in Greece. And you get the most out of it if you rent a car and then have a couple of day trips and that sort of a thing. But yeah, the only other thing that you could have against Greece, I feel like maybe could be that it's, you know, if you go like from mid-July to mid-August, it's pretty crowded. I guess.
And hot. And steamy.
Well, yeah, I mean, but it's the summer.
It is summertime.
You know,
I'm just saying.
What do you expect?
We're kind of hoping it's hot. That's the whole thing. The Europeans love it. They get out there, they just start turning themselves into solar panels, take as much of the vitamin D as they possibly can.
They don't have AC to keep them indoors. You know, you Europeans.
Well, we do.
I know you do actually have.
It's just not nuclear.
Yeah, it's not the way you guys like it.
It's not bloody frigid all the time.
So yeah,
we just have it to make a nice, cool temperature. You know, nothing too crazy. Jason, was it Greece where you got your Jesus creepers from?
Yeah, in Athens. There's a little sandal maker. Yanko, if you want to go.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The poet
Pick
and the
yourself
sandal
up
maker.
there, Yanko.
I might get.
Fuck you guys. How does the sandals still live on to this day? Of all the fucking things, it's the sandals that keeps coming back.
I might buy one for the whole group just so Jason doesn't feel as bad.
I just come from a place where footwear that isn't very restrictive is a religion, right? And we wear Havaianas, which the Brazilians will let us know are from Brazil. That's fine. But in Australia, we obviously wear thongs, right? Flip flops everywhere. And so when I saw those, it's like Crocs. It doesn't make sense. They're not necessary. We don't need them.
Fuck the Crocs.
They would have been leather, Jason. Weren't they leather?
I think it's sweet.
Yeah.
They're leather, yeah. I mean, they're custom made on the spot. It's just
Custom made.
And it wasn't like I was wearing it day to day. I wore them once.
Yeah, in
coming
front
out
of us,
Athens.
and it's because
And
of that that
I
you
have
never wore them again.
I have never worn them again, even at home. I look at them once in a while, and I'm just like, nope.
Well, you can
Why
wear them
don't
at
you?
home.
Why don't
No,
you like? Why
no,
don't you?
you guys ruined it for
I wanna.
me. That
I
was-
wanna.
That brought me a little bit of happiness, and you guys ruined it for me. So
I wanna.
it just-
But why don't you just like? I would like to be there when you wear them in Grand Rapids, Michigan. You know, you're walking around with Jane and the baby.
Yeah.
Right. Pushing the
Wearing a
stroller.
robe. His name's Moses.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to see like how people react to that. You know, in Grand Rapids.
all right. They probably
might
wouldn't.
go
They
down
probably
well
wouldn't.
then.
They probably wouldn't bat an eye.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you just got freaked out by us, a couple of fucking idiots, just
Yeah, because
pulling
look at
your
us.
leg. You know,
Look at us.
and now you put
7
them
years
somewhere.
later. 7 years later, it's still a topic of conversation.
Next event, you have to wear them. Wear them at the next event, Jason. We'll bring them out for
And
the
you know-
people.
you
Show
know,
'em
it
what-
was
show 'em
I'll bring
something-
him. I'll bring him. I'll bring him to Pro League. if
You
we
know,
can
it
do
was something
in a
as
check.
stupid
There you
as
go.
like we were in like Oakland or some hot place, you know, or it was hot at that time, and we're going to some stupid ass
No,
rehearsal.
we were in France.
Marseille?
Yeah, it was
Yeah, we were
warm.
in
Montpellier.
And we're going
Yeah,
to like
well, you said Oakland.
rehearsal.
I wouldn't wear those
and
sandals
Jason
in
just
Oakland,
Jason just walks up with that, and we're just all bored out of our minds anyway. And then someone is just like, "What are those?"
What the fuck are those? And that's the end of
And that was
I
it.
have
That was the
another.
end of them.
I have another thing, and I don't know if this will get me shamed. I don't know the temperature of the esports room these days. I've gone back to something that I used in my childhood. I've gone back
dear.
to a hard pad.
Pacifier.
Oh, okay. A hard pad.
Yeah.
Like a funk?
The Razer Atlas. I used the Funk when I was competing back in the day, and I just decided to go for the tempered glass hard pad.
You're a rarity. You're definitely not the mainstream. I'll
It's
say
in the
that much.
minority, and I don't know how the world feels about hard pads these days.
Isn't Jordan a hard pad user?
He was looking for one on Twitter, which is what kind of triggered this. I was like, you know what? I haven't used a fucking hard pad in ages. That's what I used to compete on. So I just went for it, and I fucking love it.
Well, I'm glad that you've returned to your roots, Jason.
I love
That's
it.
very important. You're having good games with it. Is it yielding results?
Yeah, yielding results, performing well. Aim's feeling a little bit better. I think this week I'll have like passed the honeymoon period. So I guess now is like the real trial. You know, that first week or two was great. And now I got to start seeing if I can maintain some consistency with it.
Also, you're playing.
So what
in
have you
NA.
been up to, Jet?
I am playing in an AS.
I think
They love W over there.
for me it was when I got for my 18th birthday like 500 euros from an uncle, and I spent it all on gear because that was when I just started like trying to compete and stuff. And I was as any noob who didn't know fuck all about fuck all. I just bought everything Razer, you know.
Okay.
But I didn't
Back
even
then
buy
as
the
well,
I
wow.
didn't even buy the good Razer stuff. I mean the gamer Razer stuff. So I bought a Razer Lachesis, if anyone remembers that. So not the Death Adder, which was like super popular at the time, which I didn't know, but this was the most expensive one. So I was like, oh, this has to be the best one. You know, I don't even know about if this feels good in my hand or whatever. I didn't know anything about anything. And then the most expensive pad was a hard pad. I don't remember how it was called. So I bought the Piranhas.
The headset, I
headset.
remember those.
And that was it, I think. I just still played on the like Logitech Classic keyboard because I was like, who needs to why would I ever spend money on a keyboard? Like I need a mouse pad and a headset, right? And that was it. And then as I started like competing and playing, and I went to my like first LAN and I saw like, holy shit, I'm the only person who has this. Everyone is using these other types of mouse pads and different mice, so maybe I should try some other stuff out. And I did, and it felt way better, and then I changed.
So it's just shuttle over your hard pad there, Jason.
Yeah, he really did. It's okay.
Yeah.
I kind of expect somewhat of that feedback from the world. I feel like
I think it's
the
okay.
hard pad is a misunderstood tool.
I used a Funk once upon a time. You could flip it over. You had like the smooth side and the rough side.
Yep.
But that was many moons ago.
Chad, how was
Yeah.
going
Where
to
would-
London for like 14 hours?
The truth of it, like the show was really fun. Like doing that episode was really good.
Smooth
The travel,
was
I wanted
fucking
to. He was having a drink or two. The travel itself, I wanted to shove needles directly into both of my eyeballs and inject some type of heavy metal because it was miserable. Because as always, leaving from Malta or going to Malta, there's going to be a delay, right? That delay is usually about 30 minutes to an hour, and that was the case. It was an hour delay leaving. So on the day of going, I'm already sitting on the plane for an extra hour because we're waiting from mission control so we can go to the moon. I'm like, this isn't fucking rocket science, guys. We're flying a fucking plane. We do it every day. Anyway, so we wait for an hour. Then I land, so I'm an hour later on a Friday.
Kind of is rocket science, though, in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Flying's hard. If any pilots listen, I'm sorry. But yeah, so the long and the short is, now that I've landed later in the day, there's going to be more traffic, and I've landed in Gatwick, and I have to go to fucking Wembley. So I'm in an Uber. I'm not getting a fucking train. I don't want that misery in my life. I will gladly sit in traffic, or when I say gladly, hate every moment of it. So I'm in traffic now for 2.5 hours. I'm in an Uber for 2.5 hours from Gatwick to Wembley. And then I get there, I check into the hotel. The match has already started, so I don't have time to even go into the venue and watch if I wanted to, because I have to start, getting ready to go to the other space, which was near Shepherd's Bush, which is 30 minutes away from where we were. So then I, get everything done. I get another 30-minute Uber. We do the show. That finishes. Get another 30-minute Uber home. Sleep for 6 hours, and then get another hour and a half Uber back to Gatwick in the morning when the traffic's not so bad. And then the flight home is delayed as well by an hour. So I think I traveled for about 14 hours in a 24-hour window. That's my trip to London.
Yeah,
I had Nando's though.
That's
so there is
cool,
that.
I guess.
Yeah. It was a good show. It was an enjoyable show.
Did you get into Blast?
Blast?
Weren't you tweeting about getting tickets for the first day of Blast?
Yeah, but I didn't have time. I didn't have time to go in there, because the show went live before the series, the second series ended.
Gotcha.
So I didn't have a chance. But Frederick had sent me some tickets, so I would have been able to get in if I had an hour more, which I lost at the delay at the start of the day. So that's how it goes. But Jason, what are you up to? You just at home?
Yeah, man, I've just been at home.
That's nice.
Just doing work around the house. The whole first week was I got home from Dallas and I was just like, I'm doing absolutely nothing that I don't want to do the first week. No obligations. Took 5 days and just did yard work whenever I felt the motivation. Mowed the lawn, filled up the bird feeders, trimmed the hedges. All that suburban shit. And
sounds peaceful.
Yeah, and then just played fucking games when I didn't want to be outside anymore. It was cool.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, just been
I actually shaved my beard and my head.
I saw you. You did the full reset.
Factory reset. It's been done. As soon as I had done the beard, I was like, "What have I done?" But,
it always feels
people,
that way when you do a big change like that after a while.
But some people said I look meaner. Some people said I looked younger. I even read one comment. Some guy said I looked older. I was like, I don't know how I could possibly look older without the beard. But yeah, it's nice just to make sure that I'm not so reliant on the hair, which is cool.
To feel put together.
Yeah. Other than that, I've done nothing. I wake up every day and I go down and have a swim and then play Face It. That's about it. Pretty exciting.
Sounds cool.
Really making the most of my break. Yanko's the only one actually doing anything.
Yeah, he is.
What do you mean doing?
You're somewhere. You're using it as a vacation.
Well, yeah. It's probably the last kind of opportunity to travel like this. So
okay.
After that, it's getting up there. So yeah, I think it's cool. I'll see what I'll do when I get back if we can sneak something else in, maybe on a prolonged weekend or something like that, because it's still going to be a while.
This is the first week. The player break only started on Monday, which was yesterday. Yeah, so exactly. The 17th. We're now officially
and it's already begun
tournament break.
And the teams ain't wasting any time.
The things that happened yesterday, we knew about the Cadian one, right? I'm pretty sure we were talking about that like it was a certainty, right? So that one is no surprise. The nexa one, I think we assumed was very likely, but I now wonder more, what does that mean in terms of, is it just malbs coming in for nexa, or is there more? That's what I'm curious about.
How confirmed is this malbs thing?
Pretty confirmed, I think.
I was under the impression that M80 was hardcore, just saying fuck everyone, no changes, no one's poaching anyone from this team.
Yeah, man, but it's
I don't.
Go ahead, Chad.
I was just going to say, I don't think they would be reporting on it in the way they were if it wasn't in some form of like there was a back and forth. Like, it wasn't them just getting shut down, right? There must be some form of conversation. Otherwise, well, to be fair, I don't know what type of information they get.
I mean, I agree with that, but it's also like, of course, M80 will say that, but, you know, if G2 wants to get malbs, and, you know, malbs is obviously aware of that, and he has an opportunity to go there. If G2 is willing to pay, like, you know, a fair price for him, like, what?
I think it would be an unfair price. I think they would charge out the ass for that.
But you think they're going to gouge him?
But it doesn't matter. Like, let's just say G2 is willing to pay whatever M80 asks for, unless it's, you know, they come in and say, well, we want $1 million for malbs, right? And I think the point being, I understand what you're trying to say, Jason. Like, they will exactly say that because they don't want to sell him. But then you get into a situation where you have a player who's unhappy, right? Because he has an opportunity to go to an objectively better team, right? And you would be compensated for it fairly. Sure, you don't want to lose him, but let's say if it's whatever, I don't know, 400, 500K, whatever it is. I mean, for, you know, I don't know if...
Let's say
M80 is this...
Just for the fun.
Okay, if M80 is this billionaire org, right, and they don't need the money, but if they're that sort of an org, why didn't they just buy better players? You know, but I think that's, let's say, as you said, 600K, I think that's something where M80 looks at it and, okay, we don't want to lose this guy, but for 600K, you can find like a good replacement because he is just a rifler, right? Like, you're not losing your IGL, you're not losing your Opera. Yes, you're losing a good rifler, but that's the quote-unquote easiest player to replace, right? Like, that's where you have an abundance of talent everywhere. So I think in that situation, like, yeah, in theory, he's not for sale, but, you know, you're not G2 and he's not Monacy, where you can actually say that and then get away with it in a sense, right?
Yeah, I always felt like that was probably going to be pretty accurate from the M80 side of not letting anyone go, just because they've been on the rise and they've shown their best, you know, performances and upsets just recently at EPL, and then all of a sudden your best rifler is getting taken away. I think that's going to be obviously a huge hit. But yeah,
do you think you would release Nexa if you didn't have something lined up yet?
Yeah.
No, I think you're spot on, Chad. I think obviously malbs isn't a replacement for Nexa, right? Like, his position-wise, role-wise, playstyle-wise, it doesn't fit. So it does. If the malbs rumor turns out to be true, then what we're led to believe is that there will be a 2-player change.
But yeah, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense to me, right? Because then what are they going to do? Put Hooksy in more like extremity parts on the map on the T sides, and then have him play more anchor positions. I know he plays some anchor positions on the CT side, but have him play even more. I don't understand how that would function. So it's curious to see if there is another edition, because I think the rumor, I don't know if it's the rumor or the conversation that I see popping up on the forums and stuff, is perfecto and malbs, right? And then that obviously leaves us in the position where it would probably be Nico in-game leading, or it would have to be Nico in-game leading, right? Yeah. And then people are like, oh no, but that's, you know, how's Nico going to be able to do it? Is it going to tank his career? But honestly, like, I was an in-game leader and I performed poorly, and that's why I quit my team, right? Because I was like, well, I'm just fucking dragging everybody down. This is terrible. I don't want to fucking do this, just bottoming out every game. Doesn't matter if I can call strats and stuff, I'm not contributing. And when you have Hooksy, which in the last couple of events he's played, that's essentially been him. He's been doing nothing, right? I would be the first person to defend, you know, somebody on the influence they can have on the team and the strats they need to call and how you need it. But we're talking like upper echelon, high tier Counter-Strike, where we need to be having 5 players in the server who all understand, in 2024, who all understand the game on the high enough level where the in-game leader doesn't need to micromanage anything. And then you need to get more out of your in-game leader once the system is set, right? This is why I think Maus have been so good in recent times. I know it's the studio events, but Shui's been able to focus more on his crosshair and have more impact within the server because he hasn't had to worry about micromanaging, because the system's up to a point where everyone gets what's going on and players are hitting hard. The in-game leader needs to be able to contribute. You can't, Carrigan fragging, he has good rounds, like multi-kill rounds, entry kill rounds, like ones which actually change the influence of the game. Maybe there's more problems to talk about with FaZe at the moment, but like some of the individual moments that Karrigan is having, and maybe I have to check the ratings and they're not that different, but I see him having impact in most matches he plays. So I don't know, like it's hard. It's hard to not defend Hooksy, but defend his position in the team.
I think really it all comes down to, for G2, if NiKo is willing to take up the IGL
Well,
role.
you know him better than anyone, Yanko. What's he doing?
I don't know. I've had a conversation with him, like a while ago, and then again more recently, and it's a thing that also for him depends on like what would the team look around.
Dude, if he had Perfecto and malbs, surely.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know about Perfecto, right? Like, I think he's a good player, but didn't we hear? Weren't there rumors that like he was also one of the like more negative influences on the atmosphere in that Cloud9 team, or am I like imagining things?
There may have been, but I don't recall them. But also at the time when all that stuff was going on around Cloud9, I wasn't looking into it, with a fine tooth comb or anything. So it's likely I may have missed it.
Because let's say if he is normal in the head, yeah, right, and a normal dude, then yeah, definitely, I think it would absolutely be an upgrade over Nexa. And malbs, I've said it on this podcast a number of times. I rate him high as well. Like this would be a challenge for him, like no other that he's faced yet in his career, to perform in a team like G2 and be on the biggest of stage. But I think he has the talent to do it. So yeah, for NiKo, I think it's like ideally he would not do it for another couple of years, maybe, right? I think 100% he's going to do it at some point in his career. He is going to, just become an IGL. But whether that's going to be now, I just don't know. Like, it's going to be up to him to make that decision. I did make the point to him that, listen, like, I get what you mean. Like, you don't want to have to do that yet. You still want to just keep playing, especially now you're sort of finding your form again or whatnot. But on the other side of things, if you're the IGL, look at these other teams that you're competing with. Who are the IGLs? It's Karrigan, it's Apex, it's Chopper,
Chewy,
right? It's no offense, but
Yurriih, Alexi.
Yeah, no offense, but none of these guys are on NiKo's level individually, right? So that would raise, if then you could just bring players to play, that would raise the average skill level for your team by a significant margin.
Okay,
so it's very
a
tempting.
Fucking Moneyball angle.
It's very tempting, and especially when and we'll get into this later. The latest Liquid rumor that twistzz is going to do it for them, but you've seen it as well. That's basically what twistzz did. I don't think people really expected it to happen now, but he just pulled the trigger on it, and okay, that's another conversation that we'll have later about Astralis. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I like as a whatever spectator. I'm not sure what I want. I don't know if I want him to move into that now. I feel like if he does it, there's no coming. You shouldn't be coming back. You should just.
It should be full commit.
Yes.
Yeah. Once you go in,
and he was doing it like a decent amount. I mean, for a decent amount of time in FaZe, and he can do it. He's definitely incredibly. I mean, I don't think it should come as a surprise to people. Like a player that has great individual game sense, obviously that comes from understanding what's going on the map, is like, yeah, that's going to transition to him being able to call well and get good reads, right, and just instinctively have good calls, which is also something that, okay, some people maybe saw for the first time in Dallas, but I'm telling you guys, I was there. Like, that was always a part of his repertoire as an IGL.
I'd love to just see G2 swing for the fences on this. Like if you're in this situation, like I would love to see them go and like lock down Nico and Mondesi and just say, we want to win a major as G2 with you guys at the helm. We want to get you guys down for like 3-year contract and just secure those two. Because Mondesi's contract ends this year, Nico's is coming up soon, I think, as well. Lock those guys down, and then if you're actually truly going to swing and get malbs and potentially perfecto with however,
it needs to be someone young, right?
Sure, but I mean, I guess my next question is there a world in which we're missing one of the other potential roster changes, which would be Hunter being dropped out and Hooksy staying?
For a while there, and we had a discussion a couple of episodes ago where I think, we acknowledged that you might even want to get rid of Hunter and Nexa, but I think Hunter's game in more recent time, at least the last few events, he's been more impactful, right? Whether or not that's something which is going to stay or not, who knows? But I think if you're going to have, so essentially with what you're speculating here would be more what malbs going into Hunter's type positions.
Yeah.
Even still... I don't know. For me, I could explain my way out of it either way, but I don't know. I guess what Yanko's saying is bang on. I feel if Nico wants to in-game lead and is willing to take up this challenge now, then that's the direction that I think they will go. But I don't know.
That's what I think would be the cool thing of G2, just like literally just locking those guys down and saying, Nico, we want you to win your first major here on a G2 jersey, and we know you have a transition into IGL in your future, and let's discuss that throughout this 3-year contract. Maybe 1 year down the road you want to do it, maybe 2 years you're feeling more ready. Let's see what that transition would look like while we have you under this contract. And if we're in a position where we make you our IGL moving forward, then we're still kind of set for that transitional period and we'll be behind you. I feel like G2 could actually secure themselves good partner, good pairing, a good core for the next 3-4 years.
Absolutely. That would be, well, if they could get them to agree that to become an IGL.
Those terms,
right? But if you have Nico as that, who can still absolutely, his individual level can be really, really high. I don't see why not for another 3 to 5 years. 3 as a minimum, and 5 isn't the ceiling to that. And then you have Mondesi, who's, arguably the best player in the world, definitely the best opera in the world.
He is the best
right?
player. Sure.
So it's like everything else is easier to find. These are the two hardest things to find. And you have the luxury where you can, but you don't have to. Because it's IGL, Opera, and Star Rifler. Well, Nico can be 2 in 1, potentially. Doesn't have to be. But, and I think one guy that I think would be really good for G2, but I'm not sure it's feasible, probably not, would be Bit. Because even though I know his English is not great...
Him and Mondesi get along
and Mondesi are like BFFs from the Navi Academy days. So you get something that to sweeten the deal for Mondesi to stay in G2, right? You get a guy who's fucking, nowadays kind of inconsistent, but when he's on point, insane anchor, right? And a guy who will be more aggressive doing that. And then, I think that would be ideal for them. I don't think that's feasible. Obviously, it would be amazing. Just give Liquid Hooksy. They need an IGL. Get fucking NAF in return, right? And add more money. But, those deals are like, they're not realistic. I think also, we talked about it before on the podcast, Shush would be, a good addition as the anchor. But I don't think Heroic would let him go. And the amount they would ask for, I don't think G2 can pay that at the moment. A lot of people tweeted at me when I tweeted something the other day about the G2 changes, like about Glaive. And here's the thing. I don't think Glaive... I just don't think he's a good fit for players like Hunter, Nico, and Mondesi, right? I'm not saying he can't call, for them and like call a looser style, but it's like, why would you... I don't think that's like his natural way of approaching the game and doing things, right? And sure, he's super experienced, he's super good, but whether he would be able to excel at calling that way as well, it's not warranted. And again, I think also for ends, like that would be a big amount that you would have to pay, and also he's not getting any younger.
Yeah, but they just got him.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I don't think he's a good fit for this G2 lineup. I think a different team, you know, like let's say if you put Glaive on Falcons, I think he could still be good for that team, for example. But for G2, I don't think so.
With all of this though, at the root of it, I think like leading towards the NiKo in-game leadership stuff, and I've already seen the comments, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more of them. It's like, oh, he's done it before and it didn't work, or star players going to in-game leadership.
Who says why didn't it? Who's to say why did it not work? It worked.
These are the comments, man. This is what the internet's saying. I'm just telling you what the internet be saying. Right?
Yeah, but people who are saying that have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, it's going to be very reductive. I would like to like and also there's another thing that plays into this is when he was doing it previously, he was younger than he is now. So not only has he changed as a person, he's also matured as a player as well, right? And there's people grow and change over time. He's taken more on, right? He might look at things differently. I think that I think it's worth having a punt, in my opinion, and I kind of think that what you were pointing out about talking about in-game leaders in other teams and their fragging output, that's why I think as long as he has 4 other competent players around him who nobody needs their hand held, right? Nobody needs to be told you need to communicate this, as long as he has competent players who are around him who are all going to be able to contribute when they need to contribute, I don't see why it couldn't work at all.
A testament to Chad, you saying that he's more matured as a player. Last time he was an in-game leader, he didn't want to play with the Krieg when it was overpowered because it was a noob weapon. So I think safe to say, definitely a lot more matured, definitely. But yeah, I think we're in consensus here. For G2, I understand there's budgets and shit, but the best thing for the org in Counter-Strike is you somehow get NiKo to agree to move to full-time IGL. You extend them, right? Or you make sure that he's around for the same time m0NESY's around, right? And you get them the fucking two good pieces to close it out. You don't skimp on like the last anchor or something like that, right? Get 2 players who are capable, because these guys can win now. Like, they can be the best team in the world now with last 2 good pieces, right? Players who
I'm
are
with you.
And they have enough time to ramp as well, right? Like coming out of the season, if they go back a week or 2, then they can get through the slew of events that are coming and try and be ready for the end of the year event, which is the major.
Like
feels like there's a rare window for an org if they're ambitious to like be able to just secure like such an incredible team for 4 or 5, like a top 5 team for the next like 3 to 5 years. But it's like a crazy window of opportunity.
Let's all together be the devil's advocate. So let's say NiKo says, I don't want to do it. Fuck all of you. I don't care about what you guys want. What does G2 do
then? They need
then?
an in-game leader.
Does Hooksy stay?
Get Nexa back and make him in-game leader. Then I think you have to go the angle of getting rid of Hunter and adding in someone else who's going to deliver more. Or you have to transition Hunter into being more of an anchor, and then you slot malbs into some more active positions.
Dude, I think that'd be a fucking disaster. I don't even know what you do, because I feel like in a world where NiKo tells everyone to like fuck off and he wants out, he doesn't want to be there. M0NESY's
he wants to be there.
Well, he wants to be there. He just, let's say,
doesn't want to IGL.
Yeah.
I thought you meant re-sign the contract altogether.
No. Just doesn't want to be there. He wants to just keep playing for the foreseeable future.
I mean, I think you have to stick with it. I think you could still pursue this kind of route, because I think, like you kind of said, there's probably 2-ish good years left of NiKo being like kind of a star rifler, probably
3 at a minimum.
Maybe 3. I mean, I think you just go with it, because he's still like an incredible player, and you say, you know what, let's have him here in case he changes his mind, and that's a transition period that we can hop on that opportunity when it comes up. But until then, he's still a fucking super valuable player just as a rifler.
Yeah,
but I mean, you would have to keep Hooksy at least for the moment. But I mean, you have to imagine G2 is going to be in the market looking around, waiting for an IGL to hit the fucking.
Fuck it, man.
So, but what do you got though? You've got cadian.
Definitely not an option.
But I don't need an op. Exactly. I've mentioned this before. I've seen people bring this up, and it's like NiKo and cadian don't get on.
No.
And I know that NiKo is not a fan of cadian. Like that I'm aware of.
I don't think you'll see them on the same team. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So I've seen that conversation from people, and that's a no-go, bro. Then who else did you have? Well, we were just Janko mentioned it before, Shush from Heroic, but obviously I know he's not in-game leader, but you could look at Kixon, the same type of thing. Would you sell him if you're Heroic? Probably not. So
would be a good option for G2 though. Like that would work for them.
Playstyle wise, I think, yeah.
Calling wise and stuff.
I'm not sure. Where they could go to find an in-game leader. I think you're really going to struggle.
That's the thing.
I don't think the options are clear.
You would just have to, but that same team, the same lineup that they have with JKS instead of Nexa, won Katowice and Cologne, right? Then the inexplicable change happened. The results were what you thought they would be. So on paper, if they could get another good player just for that role, right? Like they could just do it again. Hux's individual level actually at the start of this year was improved.
Solid.
Yeah, it was solid. Like Hunters fell off, and that was the problem, right? Because he could have a little more impact than Huxi did. So that's what set it off. But if Huxi could play at that level, I think he is in alignment, Chad, with what you said about Carrigan, right? Like obviously he's not gonna, do whatnot, but he's gonna have his moments, right? Like by catching timings and all of this stuff. That's how IGLs find impact, by catching timings and right place, right time sort of a thing. It's not gonna be winning straight up aim duels and having multi-kills by mowing people down with their amazing spray. Like that's not what they're good at. So it could work, but it just feels, bro, this other path is way more exciting. Let's just do that.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, Jason?
I was going to move on to the next thing because we got a lot.
What was the next thing?
Well, we have nothing planned, but I just have up in my browser tabs Furia in advanced negotiations for Skullz, and on top of all that jazz, the KSCERATO and Yurriih contracts set to expire after their 5-year sign.
Oh yeah, shit.
2019.
Someone said that. Let's just get KSCERATO.
And we can just add on to that too, because just recently, old boy Felps came out that he was inquired about by Furia, and he basically told them, "I would rather stay in Imperial."
No, I'm good. I'm good, guys.
Furia's getting hit in the fucking face, balls, and stomach all at the same time.
Which is funny, right? Which is kind of wild to. But you've got Yurriih, you've got KSCERATO, you've got Cello, you've got Fallen. So they've played 169 maps together with the addition of Fallen and Cello. They had this Kai kid in there, and I don't think anybody thought he was going to be sticking around. He was just a temporary.
I thought he was a one-event plug-in, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and he played a little bit more than one event, but for me, it was just, I guess, until the season had come to the close, because right now we're in a transfer window. Right, we've already seen what's happening. This is what happens within the tournament breaks. So we're in a transfer window right now, and we know how difficult it is to get players from Brazilian teams because of the heavy cost of buyouts over there is reported to be pretty wild. So I guess that's what you have to do. You have to be a Brazilian player and go to a North American or a European organization to then be able to get bought out for a sufficient price to then go back to a Brazilian team. So I don't know how I feel about the Skullz addition to Furia, if that's the only piece that changes. I just would like to see a bit more gusto, like bring in Skullz and, I don't know, bribe MIBR somehow and get Insani. I just would like to see a bit more fresh blood, because I remember back in the day, this was many moons ago, but Cello was meant to be, like the second coming of Cold Zero. Remember that, Yank?
Bro, that was in Odense Pro League one year. You and me were on the desk. That was like, I think 2017, like the second one. Yeah, he was with Luminosity and he had a couple of these maps. They didn't even make playoffs, I don't think, but he had a couple of sick maps. It was similar to Cold style, right, and all this jazz, and yeah, it never really transpired that way.
But that's the thing, they don't need another player in the team who's going to just sit back and mow people down, right? You've already got KSCERATO who's relatively passive. So you bring in Skullz, who was playing a lot of those type of roles over there on Liquid. So I feel it's like the cracking things open firepower, and I know there's a contentious topic to even mention this man's name. Art was a madman, right? And the way that he would run in was mental in the type of buys and everything, but you still need a player who's willing to try and make the space, and Fallen can't do it because he's AWPing, so he can only take certain fights to be able to, and he's old. So you need riflers who are going to get stuck in to be able to do that, and I don't know if just having Skullz go to Furia is enough to change that.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it's another thing where maybe he is a replacement for KSCERATO. And we don't know yet that he's leaving, right? Like obviously, like that. But to be honest, with the amount of offers that he's had in the past and that he's turned down, like why would he accept one now?
Especially for something that's not established. Like, what team would he go to?
Maybe he's finally seen the light. That it's not a project on the rise any longer.
Why did it take him so long?
I don't fucking know.
May as well
I don't
just stick to
fucking
your
know.
guns now, bro. Like, for fuck's sake.
But he's had plenty of hands reach out for escape routes over the years, and he's turned them all down. So maybe just now he's like, oh, they were right all along.
I have to also say, it would be crazy to me that, okay, they signed the 5-year contracts, right? But at no point over the course of those contracts, he managed to negotiate like a higher salary for him, or if that wasn't already in the contract or something like that, because if they were able to get him
on that
like
rookie 2019 contract,
yeah, something like that, then you deserve to stay there for your entire career. Just be a tabs, like, I don't care that you're, an amazing player. If that's how little you care about your career and the opportunities, right? Like, greatness, you need to fucking want it, right? Like, you don't just become great out of nowhere, and it doesn't just happen to you. Like, fucking, you need to grind for it. You need to want. You need to fight for it in a way. And a player that, similar to, okay, Tabson isn't as good of a player as KSCERATO is, but he had offers in his time where who knows what could have happened. Like, sure, it's not the same when you play for big that you're not gonna win a fucking tournament, bro. Like, we're not gonna win this tournament, even if we play our A game. We're not winning this tournament, right? Or if instead you were on a team where actually, if we play decent, if we play well, we are winning this tournament, right? Like, that exudes different performance, and there's different levels of motivation for a player depending on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not very excited about the Furia conversation, to be honest. I don't have much to add to it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to go too in depth. I think the hard part about it is, without knowing yet if KSCERATO or Yurriih are going, I think it changes the way you look at it. I think Skullz as a fifth coming in, I don't know. I don't think you could be anything but disappointing about what he showed in Liquid, involved with also no real progression from when he kind of stepped in, which is disappointing. So, I mean, it's obvious he's got talent, but I don't know why he stalled out so much in that team.
I think
so. I mean,
I'll give him a few excuses. I'll let him.
Yeah, I mean,
off the hook.
obviously, yeah, I understand some of the other things swirling around that would make it extremely difficult, but still, I was a bit disappointed. But maybe this is a chance for him to go back to some Brazilians and kind of get back into his comfort place, and maybe he shows that next step forward.
Exactly, and if they can get him cheap, quote unquote, right? Like, because Liquid,
you got to imagine Liquid's trying to get some of that money back, though.
Yeah, some sure, but also, I don't think they could.
You ain't selling him for $600K. What you bought him for?
Exactly. So if you can get him like cheaper, and absolutely, I think, now in hindsight, it looks like that Team Liquid squad was pretty dysfunctional. I mean, now the rumors are all the latest rumor is that zews is also out, that twistzz is going to be an IGL, so that there won't be on the market for an IGL. I mean, that's really, I don't know if it's really surprising. I guess it is, because 6 months in, you change the IGL and coach both, right? So you don't like either of them, which could be just twistzz saying, okay, I'll do this, but I don't want, I don't really like the way zews is doing his thing. Like, I want someone else. And I wouldn't be surprised if Adren comes back to be the coach of Team Liquid. Just put that out there.
No.
Well, again,
who else?
This would be the third time, wouldn't it?
Who else, Jason? Who else would twistzz if he doesn't want zews? Because if he wants zews to be his coach, zews is still on that team. Like, Steve and whoever isn't gonna like remove zews if twistzz wants to work with him, and he's gonna transition into being an IGL, right? So then he is. I'm not saying he necessarily saying I don't want this guy. He might just be indifferent, right?
I think it's a really simple answer. At least if I was part of like the management team helping try and design this next roster moving forward, I would be saying, we can't keep going back to what hasn't worked for us in the past, and that we changed for a reason. And you changed to Dren for a reason, and then you brought him back.
Yeah, but they changed zews for a reason. No, zews left. Never mind.
Yeah, but they also won the.
Zeus has that little bit of a caveat where, like, he did make them the number 2 best team in the world behind the greatest team of all time
and never was even close to beating them ever.
Yeah, but I mean, still that step up. I think he had a little bit more going for him in the resume to justify bringing him back. Although I guess Dren did win the Grand Slam. Yeah, I don't know. I would just say there's.
What about Berry?
I would say you can't keep going backwards.
Love Berry.
What about the stun?
Who?
Dastan. Okay.
Dastan.
I think he's staying with. No, I think you said
staying,
it correctly.
yeah.
It just kind of. I think he's staying with VP. I think he's in prison over there, actually.
Okay, like that's not cool.
Well,
How does that work?
I think that we were.
Why?
There was a discussion going on around him being dropped as the coach, and then I don't know if it was the manager or the whatever, the owner of VP, whatever the guy is. I think he said, "Oh yeah, he'll be staying on."
Yeah, I
in
saw
some
that as
type
well.
of a
He'll be
capacity.
like something a bit more behind the scenes.
But that sucks because I wanted to talk to him. So now that I won't be able to talk about the stuff.
Yeah,
'cause he
he's a
has to
fun
keep
dude
the
to chat with,
secrets.
isn't he?
Yeah, and he's not allowed to do it on camera because Jane will hit him. It's like, or we won't feed him in prison or something along those lines. You know, it's a bit of a shame.
I think Barry is a really good coach. I don't think he's high profile enough to probably even be on Liquid's radar. But I think he's a great coach. I don't know who they could get. That's why I said the Dren, because twistzz worked with him before. He was on the team when they won the Grand Slam. Like, who could you get?
This is such a weird time.
DDK?
I don't even.
Sean Gale?
I don't even.
Pass your biceps.
I don't even know if I'm on board. Like, I don't know. The twistzz IGL thing is messes.
Yeah,
with
tell
my
me about
brain.
that, Jason. You were coaching him for like a month before he left.
Yeah, what a month it was. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like I think there's a couple like good qualities that make me think it's potential. Like he is someone who's kind of like more team focused and more like he puts the team first, which is obviously always a good quality to have in someone leadership. I know he's been doing a lot of the tactics and prep work and helping in that department with the team for quite some time now since he came back. Obviously got to kind of learn a little bit under Kerrigan, although how much he absorbed, I have no idea. But he's just he's not someone that struck me as someone who would be able to take the reins for like the big picture, ordering things out in each round. And then you add on to that, as we know with all IGLs, there is going to be a drop off where you're not focused on your crosshair as much. You're focused sometimes on the radar. You're focused sometimes on what your teammates are doing. You're not looking at your own shit and looking for your timing. And those are kind of like twistzz strengths, has always been his fucking crosshair and how accurate he is and how ready he is for a fight and, taking a heads up battle. And those are things that I don't know if you're going to do as much as you're an IGL.
All right. Hold up. What if I pitch this your way, Jason? Just see how. Let's live in a come on a journey with me to a wild world where fantasies exist. What if he was already doing a lot of these things other than calling the rounds when he was playing for Liquid in the last stint? What if he was already
that's what I said. He's been doing the game plans. He's been doing the strats. He's been doing a lot of the prep
he's
work for the matches.
essentially being the leader of the team, just not calling the strat in the round, but designs them, teaches everybody what they need to do, coming up with new utility.
I get
all those
the angle, but I mean, you were an in-game leader, Chad. Let's not act like that's some small detail that he didn't have to take. That's actually like arguably like the biggest part of IGLing is doing it in the round.
Jason, I was also an IGL.
Live moment. Okay, Janko, tell me, was that a small detail to just be like, nah, he's been doing everything except for this one tiny thing?
When we were IGLs, we were shit, and the meta was shit. Now it's different. It's good. I think a big point of what you said.
The game makes more sense now.
A big point of what you said, Jason, and something we can't forget is twistzz is fucking 24 years old. So when you were on the team, he was 20. He was a fucking child. Yeah. Not a child, but he was a teenager. Not literally.
A young man.
I'm trying to like make a fucking analogy, whatever. But saying after that, he went to FaZe.
Is he really 24? God damn.
Yeah, played with Kerrigan, had a lot of success, won the second Grand Slam. He won another major. Yeah, that he was on the team. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, he was there for the major win.
So I think he matured a lot since you were on the team with him for a short time, right? So I can see twistzz from like interacting with him a little bit and he's giving it and stuff. I can see that he has that. Listen, for an IGL, he needs to have an ego a little bit, right? Like he needs to be authoritative. He needs to be a leader of men. He needs to say things with fucking command in his voice, right? So that when he says it, you're fucking believing it. It sounds convincing. Because we all know, Chad, I know, Jason, that fucking like a quote-unquote bad call, but that the players believe in, they think it's executed with confidence, has a higher chance to work than a good call with low confidence, right? Like we always talk about how important confidence is. So if you can exude that, like if your players feel that from you, get that confidence from you and from your calls, like that's a big part of just playing good Counter-Strike, right? And I think twistzz can get there. I don't know if he's there, immediately, right? Like there's a lot of these little things. But another thing is I think the game has evolved so much where Chad had to do way more when he was IGL than an IGL has to do now in a game. Because
probably.
He had to...
Players across the board are more intelligent
yes,
and better.
You had to tell everyone what to do, or you had to design a round that had, waypoints from start to finish so that it's just, okay, when I throw this smoke, that's when you peek here and throw this flag and so on and so on. Nowadays, it's way more fluid because the players are a lot better and they know how to react. And these reactions and this sort of things, you discuss in practice. You discuss how you want to approach certain situations, right? Because you have situations that repeat themselves across, doesn't matter which map it is, right? You're going to have 5v3s, you're going to have 4v5s, you're going to have all this shit. How do you want to do it? And then you have keywords to trigger you going for that reaction so that you have the best possible timing, so you can do it as fast as possible. So I think it's more about now for an IGL, yes, of course, your main responsibility is calling something in freeze time and saying what you're going to do in this round and thinking about, but even when I was coaching, we were already doing, obviously, okay, if we win or lose pistol, we're forcing or ecoing. This is what we're doing in the first buy round if we're 0-2, 0-3 down or 2-0, 3-0 up, right? Like all this shit you talk through before the game starts. So that stuff is more or less set. Of course, it can be something as simple as saying if we're 3-0 up, we're playing Mirage, we're T-side, we're going to do a default, maybe a more heavy default, see if they're fighting. If they're fighting, something's going to happen. You're going to call a mid-round. If nothing happens, we're just going to end the round by doing this. But that almost never happens, right? Like when you're defaulting, trades happen and then you mid-round. And then it comes down to, especially now it's even MR12. So it's shorter. So it's like from round 4, 5, 6 is when you really need to, okay, so what happened in the prior rounds and what are the best calls moving forward? And also that's where your coach can also take a timeout. So I don't think it's like a massive deal if you have guys, and also he has Yakinder on the team that, is a yapper. So he's going to have help in that regard.
Yeah, but I think I think it is going to be a huge deal. I mean, especially when you consider that this is a roster now that's being blown up essentially and rebuilt. So
Can it be worse than the teams they've had in the last year and a half? I guess that's the question.
But it's not even. I mean, it can be.
Yeah, it
but
could be.
I mean, my let's say it's better. Even if it's better, it's like you now are stepping into an in-game leadership role where you have to create everything from scratch, and you have all these players, ostensibly players coming in that you might not have played with. You don't have like the step up and those advantages. Like he's got to learn everything from step one. This isn't like Nico stepping into in-game lead in Dallas when they've had a team that's been together and they've had strategies that they know they like to run, and he knows how players like to play in certain rounds.
And Hooks has been helping from home.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot. And look, it's not that it makes me a little uneasy, and I'm not sure how it's going to go. But like, look, if that's the direction it has to go, because it's not like great IGLs are out there growing on trees. I guess the angle you take is some of the best in-game leaders, and pretty much most in-game leaders, I would say, are created out of moments of necessity where you don't necessarily want to do it, and you're just kind of put in a position where you have to do it. And it feels like that's the position twistzz is in at the moment.
You know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping
maybe he didn't think about it, but he's got to take it.
I'm hoping this is the Nico thing originally, right? Where he's doing it and he wants to do this later on. At some point in his career, he can see himself doing this. And they look at the market and they look at the team and they're like, we can't really get anyone, realistically, right? Like, because this roster, we spent money on it, didn't work out, whatever. So he's going to do it for this next major cycle, right? Dip his toes in it, see how it goes, see how it looks for him. They're going to get 2 more players. And I think ideally they're looking after the major in Shanghai is over to then probably get an IGL and for him to just go back to playing. And then down the road he can, because it feels silly for twistzz to do it now. Right? Why? Because
I don't think he should.
Because fucking Liquid is. I think also, we've heard rumors that teams have been asking about them. And of course teams are going to ask when they see cadian is leaving, maybe the whole roster is getting blown up, maybe we can get twistzz. And Liquid doesn't want to let him go, and Liquid is a team that is in a position to be like, no. But then I can see how twistzz might be like, okay, so I can't go to a different team to be just a player. If I'm going to stay on this team, I want an in-game lead. We need an in-game leader. We can't get anyone. I'm willing to do it. I've been doing a lot of the stuff for this previous roster anyway. And that's where Liquid sort of has to concede and let him do that, get 2 more players to finish the roster, and that's going to be the team for next season.
Well, but this is the thing. This is another one of how far along do we think Liquid are in the decision-making process, similar with the G2 thing, right? So obviously Nex is gone, but do they have a player signed, or are they getting more players and more players getting let go? Like Liquid, they're getting rid of Skullz and they're getting rid of cadian, but like, where are we going from here?
Yeah, who do they get as an offer? Exactly.
Yeah, good point.
Could you go to M80 if malbs is going to G2? Could you say maybe
slacks?
Maybe that opens up options? I mean, what else you like? Again, we're talking about a team that operates in NA. There's no good operators in NA. There's 0.
Yeah, you're going to have to take a punt on somebody, aren't you? Like you're going to need
if
to try
Aussie
and grab
didn't play,
somebody from...
didn't have these games in NRG, we would be saying him. But
what about like Zorti or something?
Deco?
Where, yeah, I don't know about... I don't know how good Deco's English is. Same with Zordi. I don't know how good their English is. But Zordi was meant to be linked with EG like last year or the year before.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Right? There was conversations about that.
What if Liquid just says, you know what? Let's get crazy. If we want to really get crazy, what if they go talk to Nico? What if they just say, hey, Nico, you want to do this now? You just want to speed it up? We'll make you the highest paid player. Your contract's ending soon. We'll wait for you. We'll give you a bag.
What, Nico, Yakinda, twistzz, Naf...
Too many talkers. I think you need to. Then you remove. Then he comes instead of Yakinda.
Then you need 3 players.
Well, then
but they're probably going to keep their
3 more aggressive players, I would imagine too.
Aren't they going to keep the 3 players that they have for the play-ins? So like,
twistzz, Naf, Yakinda are staying.
Yeah. So I don't know. This is the thing. We could talk about this till the cows come home.
I know.
We don't have enough.
You're not getting like Nico is not going anywhere now. Like maybe it's just not. That's not the timing when you try and get him. Like the timing is at the end of the year.
Yeah, but at the end of the year, he might have re-signed with G2. So you gotta start those little chit chats. You gotta plant the seed, Yanko. You gotta let it grow. Then you gotta fuck it.
Well, yeah, okay. Now is the time.
Is
simple realistic?
The seed, then you fuck it. Nice, Jason. But
is simple realistic?
Do you want? I don't want simple. If I'm Liquid, or if I don't know about Liquid.
Is he going anywhere?
If I'm G2, I don't. He's too big of a fucking question mark. You know, it's like a loose cat. I don't know what I'm getting with simple. You have no idea.
What does he do if you get back in a team?
If you sign simple, you might pull off the best move
or the worst.
Like you just don't know. Because
I don't even know if he's going to be good.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's going to be good when he comes back.
I mean,
like how much faith do you guys still have? I said this the first time he went on this like break. I was like, I don't think he's coming back with any kind of game.
Yeah, you did rule him out very early.
I think
actually I've seen
now,
nothing to change my mind.
Now that I'm thinking, bro, yeah, Liquid should get him. Liquid should get him. Liquid should get him for like a 6-month like loan from. Where's he on? He's on Navi
for the major cycle. Just say for this major cycle.
Fuck it. twistzz, IGL, simple, Yakinda, Naf.
And
then I can't see any potential issues coming up in that team with a brand new IGL, and Yakinda, and simple on one team.
Fuck it, yeah. Just get perfecto as well. Like he's gonna be cheap. He's been on the bench for a long time. Figure something out. For Liquid, that would be pretty fucking insane, wouldn't it?
If you did that, you'd be in the EU qualification.
Oh no! Let's not have this fucking chat again. For fuck's sake!
We don't have to have the chat. I just want to bring it up. I just want to fucking bring it up. I just want to get it out there into the world.
Okay, I'm glad it's in the world.
No, you're not.
Yeah. Okay. So
then,
instead of perfecto, just get floppy. Actually, he won't ever leave complexity. I don't know. Get Fang. Oh no, he's just
get a leash back. Get all the guys back.
Just get Stewie and Nitro. Yeah. And fucking add Stan.
Nitro's been grinded. You could get the band back together. Dren's out there. We can do it.
They should get simple. I was saying about an opera. Fucking get simple. Because who are you gonna get? Hades. Yeah, that's so fucking. That gets your dick not hard.
It doesn't make me angry.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where you're like, it's like those guys who just give up in life, you know, and like, this is not the girl I wanted.
Talking about me?
This is not the girl I wanted, but...
Well, this is taking a turn.
But this girl is like, she's okay. Like, you know, she's not a whore. She's not an addict. She's not like all these things. Like, she's just, you know, okay. I don't get, you know, the heart doesn't beat out of my chest for her, but I'm not going to have massive, you know, grief with her either. So yeah, fuck it. That's it. I just give up. I'm not going to keep looking for the right one, for the one, you know, I'll just get this one. That's what you do if you end up with Hades.
He's just described the phenomenon known as settling.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah, that would have been way easier and quicker.
I think if you go to How I Met Your Mother law, in a relationship, there's always one party that's settling and one party that's reaching. That's from How I Met Your Mother. I think nothing good happens after 2 a.m. So I don't know how much you guys are keeping up with that. But can we talk about this blast shit?
Yeah.
Because I like formats, Jason. Take a shot.
You do love a good format.
Yeah.
I will take a shot. I'll save that one for later.
Yeah, nice. So Blast obviously announced their circuit for 2025, and some of the things they've done I like. Some of the things I've been reading into a bit more, and I don't know if I love. But I am glad to see, so it's all essentially standalone events. I think that there is a saying that we all need to get used to quite quickly now, is Valve ranking is king, right? For people who aren't initiated, essentially the majority of the teams that will be playing in these Blast events next year will all be determined, well, not all, majority will be determined by the rankings, the Valve rankings. So the ranking is going to be king in their events to determine who is going to be competing and who isn't. The only one where that really isn't the case is the Blast Open, but still 12 of the 16 teams playing that event will be through the ranking, which means only 4 teams are going to qualify through open regional qualifiers. So when I saw this, I was a little bit blown away because we were talking about this previously and these type of events. And I had nothing to base this off other than what I thought Valve would want to try and keep the events open. And it's not that they're not open, it's just determined by the ranking, but how do you get on the ranking if you can't play in open events to get there, right? And with the Blast circuit, there are very few, there's only twice a year that you're going to be able to play any open events regarding a Blast event to try and qualify. Otherwise, you will have to be through the ranking. So there's just not a lot of ways to break in with the Blast circuit. That's one of the things that I don't know how I feel about at the moment.
Let me make sure I have this correct. There's the 3 different Blast tournaments: the Blast Bounty, the Blast Open, the Blast Rivals.
Yes.
Teams from the Blast Bounty, 8 teams go to there's an 8-team LAN final, and then do any of those teams qualify for the Open?
No, doesn't work like that.
Okay, so they're all independent. They're not strung together by qualifying for the next stage.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're not qualifiers for each other. But I guess there's an argument, and this is the thing, we need to see when Valve release the information publicly that the TOs know that is how they've structured this stuff, because this is the thing, for Blast to be able to put this out, they must have had heavy conversations with Valve of how they want to function with these events, and Valve would have to give it the big green tick, which means they're happy with 2 events out of the 6 events of the year having a total of 4 open slots for each of those events, whereas the rest of them are all through the ranking, right? So 32 teams for the bounty, 30 of those are going to be invited based off of the ranking, and it'll probably be the first event of the season like normal. And just so people can get an understanding of how this would work, Blast would have to invite from 1 to 30, and that's assuming every team from 1 to 30 would say yes, and then they have 2 wildcard spots, which I think is good for the way that they want to use those slots. It's like if something like Liquid happens, for example, where they don't have a core on the ranking and they're obviously a good team, but they're not going to be at the event, so we're able to invite them through the wild card element, right?
Or a very exciting team to have for the event overall.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty good. Obviously, the fact that it starts online, that makes most of us turn our nose up a little bit, but it makes it much more feasible for them.
I think the bounty system is kind of cool.
Yeah, I like the prize money and the bounty system. I think, and the picking of your opponent as the lower seeds. I think it doesn't go like seed 32 picks seed, like they pick first. It goes like seed 17 picks first. So yeah, the lower half of the teams, but you start with
the highest seed of the lower half.
Exactly. From what I was talking with Andrew Hawthorne about when I was in London briefly. which, I think that the way that they've done this is great. And Yanko, I saw that you tweeted quite positively about it, especially with the way they're using the prize money.
Yeah, I think we've been saying it even on the podcast, like that prize pool should be more top heavy. Like there's so much money being wasted on teams that don't get any wins or they're lower tier, and I don't see a reason for that because these are all orgs. Like 10,000 is not making a massive difference to them, right? Like I think people should get money for when they win either matches or when they qualify for that event. Like, so, okay, if you're last place at Pro League, you should get 0. But whatever tournament you want to qualify for that, that should give you some money. But yeah, I think it is one of the most useless and underused things in tournaments is prize pool and prize money. So I think it's great that they, are just doing something different with it, right? And I think the way it's going to be exciting is if someone does manage to pull off an upset win, that's when it changes. And it's mostly going to happen in the online part, right? Like if one of these teams beats one of the favorites and then take their bounty, then obviously they're going to be the team that someone else picks to play against.
To try and get that.
To get that. So if a favorite loses to someone, then that team that wins, I mean, they're going to have a target on their back. And, we'll see how it plays out when the tournament actually does happen, because always you have upsets online. It's going to be the first, officials of the season for a lot of these tier 1 teams. So it's going to get a little bit crazy, it being online and all. So,
and it'll be the first 2 rounds online, right? So from 32 down to 16, then from 16 down to 8. So the first 2 rounds of the event will be played online.
Yeah, I think you'll have a decent amount of fuckery going on there in terms of upsets. But it's going to be something that's going to give people something to talk about, right? And I think that's a good thing. And also, I don't think Blast could have possibly come up with something shittier than, I think they are the ones who benefit the most from there not being partner leagues and teams anymore, because they can't keep doing the same format. They had to make something different. And I think obviously, single elimination, best of 3s, best of 5 final, fucking easy, great. Can't really complain about it in any way, shape, or form.
I like that none of those, there's no tie-in. That's why I was asking about like the qualifier from the bounty to the open. Like, because
the gap between their events.
Yeah, it's 2 months. The bounty takes place in mid-January to late January, and then the next one is mid-March to late March. So it's like having to like kind of string that to 2 events connecting together over 2 months is fucking impossible.
But it also makes this standalone events more of a snapshot of what's actually happening in Counter-Strike at the time.
Yeah.
Right, like, okay, we're coming out of the break. These are where the teams are ranked. Okay, it's online to start with. We know this is a warm-in event. It's a little bit of fun considering the format, but it's still serious because teams want to win and they can still win a lot of money. Cool. We get like a little taste test coming out that isn't these pointless games that we had in the Blast groups up until this point. I don't love the fact that for the opens and for the rivals, they're still doing these 6-team playoff brackets. Yeah. We got to get rid of that.
I know. I hate it. I hate it everywhere.
It dilutes other matches. That's the biggest issue I have with it. Like, I understand why we do it that way, especially once we get to arenas for Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, because doing 4 best of 3s in a day is something which is seen as impossible, or at least it was. I think now that we're in MR12, well, they run 4 best of 3 days regardless, right? During the group stage, Blast do 4 best of 3 days.
So why
they
wouldn't
just
you
don't want to do
it in
it.
the arena?
Exactly. But you look at it this way: for the rivals event, you only have 8 teams. So why do you even need to do like a playoff bracket like that? Why don't you could just do a double elimination 8-team bracket, for example, and then you get to the arena days, and still every match has its importance within the scale of the bracket, right? So then you're still following along the story. With the 16-team one, just make it so 8 teams. Don't do it like what ESL is doing at the moment with the Masters level events. Just make it so 8 teams go through to the playoffs. Have the Friday with 4 best of 3s. cut, and I know people are going to be like, oh my God, but how can they do that? They've sold on it. Well, let's think about this. I'm going to suggest that we cut halftime breaks on the 4 best of 3 Friday arena day, right? And because there's going to be more broadcasts done within the day, normally on that arena day, you'd only do 2 games. Well, right now you're going to do 4, so there's going to be more places to play ads throughout the rest of the day. You get rid of all the fucking fanfare of the walkouts for the quarterfinals and all that nonsense. You just have it so it's like bang, we're in, just bang, we're in, bang, we're in. Yeah. Exactly. And then turn up the grandeur and theatrics for it once you get to the Saturday for the semis and the final. And, you know, normally Fridays are going to have less people there spectating anyway, and that's still going to be the case. So you're not going to have many people there watching an afternoon game on a Friday because they're at work. You're just going to have to cop that. And what you do is you have accelerated schedule for the first 3 matches, and the final match you leave in the peak time slot so that the people who are finishing work or whatever who are buying tickets for the Friday game to come and watch live, they can still come and watch that one blockbuster matchup. Where sure, they might miss the other ones because they're on accelerated schedule, but the day doesn't fucking drag and the production crew's not there for a fucking 16-hour day. So I think there are solutions, and MR12 series are shorter. It's just by how much, I guess that's the big question. I think it's worth the risk now. I think I'm fed up of having these games in group stages, which are seeding matches, which the stakes are so skewed, and then you're watching it, and then people are having to make, oh yeah, but they'll dodge these guys on this side of the bracket or this. It's like, do we have to do that? Can't we just have like matches that matter the whole way through? Do we really need to find ourselves in a position where we have games that, it's not that they don't matter, but the ramifications aren't as dire of you qualify or you don't, or you progress or you don't. Like that. If we could just get to that, we've got rid of a lot of the bullshit. So that's my one wish for 2025. Preaching to the choir, baby.
Could do what didn't ESL do that stage that one time? Where was that? They did it. They had like the rotating stage, Rio, no. And they were
Katowice.
Katowice, and you could set up on the other side of the stage while the other game
Rio,
was going
they had 2 setups next to each other, adjacent. Yeah. And then they had setups out the back as well.
Bring rotating stages back. Everyone loves those.
Would you, Chad? Okay, so what about the opposite to that is just being in the
4
arena?
Teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's another. I don't know what type of finances we're talking about for when they're hiring events for 3 days versus. Well, I guess they're hiring it for more because they have 2 setup days either side, right? So like Thursday setup, Monday teardown.
Wait, you're talking about just doing semifinals and finals in the arena?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially for the Rivals event, it's only 8 teams.
Yeah. I guess there's that. I can tell you what the argument would be from a TO perspective, just because I remember having those with Blast when they were first setting up their product way back when.
All right, hit us.
That was the entire point of their first format as well, where they didn't want to have an event where fans would have to buy tickets, not knowing if they would see the team they wanted to see on the stage in the arena. So they want to have as many different teams possible inside of the arena so that fans of any team can come and know that they're going to see their team play at least one game. Yeah,
I don't know about that. This is a competition. Like, I understand.
That's definitely from the business perspective looking at it, right? It's not the competitive perspective, but that is the idea.
I think Blast should. I think it's fucking stupid to have 8 teams and then 6 teams make it to there's like a 16 playoff. That's fucking idiotic.
Yeah.
ESL can get away with it because for ESL, it happens out of a really 24
or 16,
team tournament, right? Like, which is, I agree with you, Chad. Like, I would rather it's not there, but I don't think we're still at a stage where, unless it's a major, I don't know, maybe Cologne can try it to try an 8-team playoff, right? And to start on Thursday. But
there's no way.
I don't think.
Like, I understand what you're saying. I don't think they would.
Especially one that doesn't fill out
because that arena is massive. So the cost is there, and also how. Also, I mean, you feel as a spectator, or at least I do, and the TOs feel it's like you'd rather. You would, if possible, avoid having a fucking half-empty arena for a broadcast. It just looks like shit. That's not what you want to put out there. Right? Like
I would rather have Saturday and Sunday full than have Friday half empty.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not running the business.
So I think for Blast, it should be 1 or 2 things, because they did said for the Rivals thing, they're looking at smaller venues and try to have it all like with an audience, right? The whole tournament. I think that could work. Like if you have the 8 best ranked team at 8 highest ranked teams in the world. And if you do it in like
It
a
just
good
depends on the
location
city,
that
though.
has like
Yeah.
if you go to like a place where esports is a thing and you could get fans and it's like what 3,000 people, 2, 3, 4,000 people, yeah, you could fucking pull that off. That's fine. Obviously it's not going to be a huge spectacle if you go for that, but you could do it. I think it depends
on how you build it out, though, right? Like, obviously, yeah, you're right. It won't be a huge spectacle, but it doesn't mean that the atmosphere can't deliver. I think we've seen events with small crowds and that correct atmosphere deliver before. It's about how you set up the stage or the tournament area, right?
Yeah,
how is it being watched?
Small crowd.
Exactly. Yeah. Right? How are they seated? And
do it in
I
Sydney.
think the main one is the city. The main one is the city, right? It can't be. This is the thing. If they just go to Abu Dhabi or something like that, then they're just going to struggle with an audience that makes any sense. And if we're talking less than like, I don't know, 500 people, well, then we're getting into Malta territory where we had 150, 200 people maybe max. And that, that's not very hype by any stretch of the imagination. I think it needs to be 1,000 is the minimum, and 1,000 to 4,000, something like that, and an interesting way to have the game displayed or viewed for the live audience there. Make it a bit more raw. Make it less like a concert and more like a competition where these teams want to rip each other's fucking heads off. I know it's not fighting, but it's still the same kind of mentality, right?
Do it like darts.
But I think it's
do it like darts. Yeah.
It's funny how the Opens are basically Cologne and Katowice format, but
isn't it just a Dallas format?
No, Opens are the 16 teams. Okay, yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. But it's that, but also the part where the groups are always going to be played in Copenhagen, or like the groups are going to be in the studio, and they're going.
And they fly the 6 teams out,
which is why the ESL tournaments were 2 weeks as well originally, because that was like the plan. Then COVID happened, and I don't know what the fuck changed, so they went away from that.
Yeah, ESL, we're going to build that studio. Alex did like the video talking about it and everything. They had him do this whole recording about where they were going to, this type of studio they were going to build for the group stages and everything. And then they pulled the plug on and they didn't do it. I was like, that fucking shat me more than nothing. That fucking tilted me.
But yeah.
So yeah, I think Blast Circuit next year going to be better than it was the last couple of years. Cool stuff with the bounty, with the prize money. It's all Valve rankings. It's all going to be...
We should talk about...
That's half of it, because there's the other side. There's the participation fees and the payouts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is a really important part, Jason.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, Jason.
So investing $8.5 million into Counter-Strike next year, and then that's split up $4 million into participation fees, $2 million into a frequent flyers program, $2.5 million into prize money. So for the Blast bounties, if you get 1st through 8th, you get $40,000 participation fee per team. 9th through 16th.
No. It's
is it the seed?
It's based off of from where your invite.
Yeah,
is.
the ranking
income
at the point
for
of
teams
invite.
based on their ranking at the point of invite. So if you're in the Valve ranking at 1st to 8th and you get invited to go to a Blast bounty event, you're incentivized with $40,000 per team to go and play in that
show
event.
up.
Yeah.
9th to 16th is 26,000. 17th to 32nd is 7,500 per team. Blast Open is different. 1st through 12th, $45,000 per team based off your ranking at invite, and everyone else is 10,000 for the different regions.
Yeah.
And then Blast Rivals is 81,000 per team. I mean,
and that's a total of $4 million for a year. That's a lot of money, man.
That's a shit ton of money, bro. That's like
yeah, but it doesn't.
What?
It doesn't necessarily bother me too much in any way, just because, dude, these participation fees have been going on for years. Like,
in the partner fucking model.
No, not just the partner model. Other than like the non-partner leagues have been having to pay those kinds of participation fees if they ever want to entice one of the quote unquote partner teams to go to their event.
Really?
Those events in India that shut down were paying huge participation fees, hundreds of thousands of dollars to single orgs to get them to go to their event. And I mean, ridiculously enough, those events pretty much all canceled themselves for various reasons. Like they just kind of shut down and
never paid out those participation fees.
No, the teams never actually had to go to the event. But like, there have been participation fees over the years, plenty of times, even outside the partner leagues.
I thought you meant by Blast and ESL. I was like,
no. I think theirs were built in as like rev share, right? That's
Astralis got like a crazy amount of money to go to an event, right?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I remember dude, I remember when we did fucking like IEM San Jose in 2015, like TSM got 250 grand to show up for like League of Legends was like the rumor that we were going, like just to come play at the event.
Bloody hell.
It's just
be nice.
And like, yeah, I mean, that's, I mean, they've just been happening, but I mean, yeah, this is a little bit more in your face and out in the open. So I don't know, take from it what you will, but it doesn't necessarily bother me unless, and I assume that this is worded this way for a purpose to where this isn't going to count as prize money for Valve rankings in any way.
Yeah, well, couldn't this, but this is the stuff that has to be transparent, right?
Yeah.
Valve said there's no issue with this type of stuff. Everybody just needs to go, and this is the stuff that went a bit more under the radar, that hasn't really been discussed. Well, at least it hasn't been discussed by me, and I'm kind of just catching up on it today. Really having another read of it. The frequent flyers program for those people playing at home. The frequent flyers program is designed to reward teams for their consistency and participation in multiple blast events. The program works as follows. So I think this is key because they're not going to make every team a frequent flyer team. You would say to probably your existing partner teams, or at least the ones that you think are good. Like for OG, you think, fuck these guys. Thank God we can get them out of here, right? But for the good guys like Vitality, FaZe, G2, the big names, the ones that are always going to be pulling, you would want to extend the offer for them to become a part of the frequent flyer program, which means every time that they would be eligible to play one of your events, if they were high enough in the rankings, they would have to say yes, right? And then this is where this token situation comes in. Teams earn tokens for participating in events. Four tournaments. If they go to 4 within the year, they get 1. 5 tournaments, they get 2. Or if they get all 6, they get 4 tokens. And then they can get additional tokens if they reach the second week of the bounty or open. That's a token, and winning a bounty, open, or rivals is 2 tokens. And then at the end of the year, they're going to tally up all the tokens that all the teams in the frequent flyer program have, and then that $2 million is going to be divided based on the number of tokens accumulated. And then if a team declines an invite, they forfeit all of their tokens. So you have to, if you're a frequent flyer team, go to... Well, that's how they're incentivizing you to go to their events.
I know. It's not that bad. I hate it. I hate the idea that, I mean, if you're a top 10 team, this is like basically, I mean, it doesn't like lock you in. You can still forfeit the money and the frequent flyer stuff, but that's like 6 tournaments in your schedule you have to count on. Like if you're a top 10 team, you just don't have it. You know, that's just one thing taking away.
Well, you're going to get the money for every event you attend.
Okay. Well,
right?
here's the question: how much money do the players get?
Well, I guess that's the thing, right? Like this is going to be.
That's something that they negotiate with the org. Yeah.
Yeah, but now you have to negotiate sticker money, signature money. Now you have to do frequent flyers for blasts.
Well, the world changes.
I think for this shit, you just do it. Well, I don't know. I was gonna say you just do it the same as prize money, but because
don't they get a lot of prize money?
there's no incentive for the org here, just for the players.
What do you mean?
Oh, unless the org gets the $2 million, the cut of the flyers pot.
Well, yeah, but
because in my mind, that's what it is.
But it's also a participation fee in a way, right?
Yes,
it's
another way to go.
It's another way for them to incentivize teams to attend their tournaments outside of the money that they're giving them to attend multiple tournaments.
This is their version of the Grand Slam. It's like a way to force you at the events without actually like really truly locking you in. It's just an extra incentive.
No, it is locking you in because that's the thing. If a team declines an invite, they forfeit all the tokens. So you wouldn't agree to be a frequent flyer team unless you were going to attend all of them. The only way that you wouldn't attend if it was these extenuating circumstances. Right? If you really went, fuck, like if you go to the end of the year and you thought the blast quality of player treatment and the computers and everything was dog shit, and you thought that going to this event was going to tank your ability to play in the major for the close of the year, and you're like, fuck these guys, like we're not going. That would probably be, that would be one of the only ways out. Otherwise, I would assume that this money, unless, like you're saying, and how do you even negotiate it in now, right? Does there have to be addendums made to contracts? How does this work?
Yeah,
if it's just based on how things are now, then it would just go to the org.
You would have the addendums. Absolutely. I mean, the players would be like, hey, you're not, if this money comes in, it's not going straight to the org, right? Like it's the same as prize money in a sense. And players also get participation fees too. So I think, I mean, I'm looking at it. It's like it only makes like
6.5
obviously
million.
playing 6 tournaments means a lot. But let's say if you have, that's the problem. Like the ranking is going to fluctuate. So it's for the rival teams, it's like only 8 teams. For the other shit, it's like 16 teams invite or whatever, 10 or so. G2 is maybe not going to be in a. If they make player changes, they're going to be out of the top 6 for a little bit, but they're not going to get out of the top 10 at any point in time, or Vitality or whoever, right? So I'm trying to think. My thought process is I'm thinking there might be a lot of tokens out there, right? Because 2 million is the minimum, right? So if there's 20 tokens around, that's 100K for everyone, which is a lot. It's like a significant amount. But if it's 40 tokens all of a sudden, right? And it's 50K that you get at the end of the year, then you might be like...
it's not much of an incentive.
Listen, like, like this is cool and all, but especially where was it? Yeah, just for fucking attending the Rivals thing, you get 80K.
Yeah.
So,
but you need to weigh up as well, though. You need to weigh up as well the scale of prize money that other tournaments might have, because I don't imagine PGO is going to put anything in place, right? That is going to be that, okay, you guys, we're going to incentivize you to attend our events. They might just do good prize money. It's like if you're fucking sick, like if you're a good team and you come first, second, third, whatever, you actually make good prize money coming to our event, which could scale more than some of the, because we don't know what the prize money is going to look like for these events. Yeah. It says for the prize money 2.5 million yearly.
Across
so that 2.5 million. Exactly. So I would assume we have to wait and see how the mechanism works with the bounty. That's going to scale depending on your ranking. We have to see how it's going to work regarding the open event and the rivals event and where they stack the prize money. But if you divided 2.5 million evenly by 6, we're not talking a lot of money per event really in terms of prize money, right? We're talking less than some of these online tournaments.
Yeah, and it's not going to be equal among the 6 though. Either rivals will be more, Blast will be a medium, and bounty will be the smaller prize pool.
I think also that's what just talking to, it was my advice to an extent to ESL to get their prize pools up for the IEMs that are not Katowice and Cologne. Like 250K.
Well, they're pretty low, aren't they?
Yeah, 250K total, 100K first prize. It's like, if you're going to get 80K just for attending Blast Rivals, like you're going to skip Dallas to do that. No, unless you're a team that has 2 or 3 notches and maybe the Grand Slam, maybe something like that. But you're going to be like between those 2 tournaments, if you're Vitality, and especially if the rivals are in Europe or somewhere closer, I think that's what you do. So I think ESL needs to figure out a way. Obviously, I think they're set with Katowice and Cologne, but for some of these other tournaments, especially because, you have Chengdu, Dallas, and Rio this year, which are like 3 tournaments that are far away,
all far away, man.
Exactly.
Fuck.
So it's like, sure, you have players and teams, they like going to cool places, but considering how the schedule is going to be next year, they're not going to care about that. They're just going to be looking how to be the most efficient with the tournaments they pick to attend. So
maximize prize money and points to qualify for the major.
Let's just put it this way. If they don't make any changes for next year with their structure, I think they'll be in a bit of a pickle.
I'm sure there's people. I'm sure they got a whole team reviewing that kind of shit.
Well, they have to be, man.
I'm sure they got a bunch of people on that project.
Yeah.
Jason,
there's a whole new department on it.
Someone's looking at it. Big Mac's on that.
Are you looking at it, Jason?
I'm not looking at it. I'm not.
Why aren't you looking at it?
Why would I look at it? I don't run a tournament.
You should get looking at it, Jason.
I just come in and cast Counter-Strike, dog.
That's pretty good fun, isn't it? Casting Counter-Strike, having a good time with it.
You guys excited for this new Into the Breach roster?
No. We're not talking about that. Fucking, I don't give a fuck about that.
There's so much more to talk about than that.
Other things.
Fuck me, right? All right, go on. Yeah, what you got? Shut the fuck up.
Fuck you, Jason.
Well, we could talk about the event that just ended with Spirit winning.
Yeah.
Who wants to talk about that?
I do. I think it was. I think
Spirit of the team of the season.
Yes, I think so. Especially considering that they came a little bit out of nowhere, right?
Well, they were on the radar. Well, at least the Donk hype was on the radar
Donk
late
was on
last
the radar,
year, right?
and then Shiro joined, and then it was like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
But still,
They won an event, and then Shiro joined.
hey, I had them at the start of the season when we did the podcast. I said Spirit and Astralis. Those are my two teams that are not in the top 5 right now that can get there and surprise. And Astralis didn't happen
out, but they're
because
close.
they had to change. But Spirit definitely panned out. I think it's just such a shame that they didn't play Chengdu Pro League, so we could get a bigger sample size for them, and how they would perform. But I think it was really important for them to win this tournament, especially beat Vitality in the semifinal, because they win Katowice, they take Katowice by storm, but no one knows about them. Like it was a bit of a surprise and everything. Then they get beat by the experience of FaZe at the major. I think they also made a mistake, not just playing Asian, but that veto situation, which I know you two guys love when I talk about it, that was a bit specific, so I can't blame them too much for that. And then they had Dallas against Vitality, where they played them the first time ever, and I think they kind of choked, and Vitality just beat them. That's all right, but you could see that they learned from both of those. And then they came to London and took care of business. In a way, a little bit fortunate that they played Na'Vi in the final, who they have him in their pocket. I mean, Navi's not going to beat Spirit anytime soon in anything important. So yeah, I think it's great also because compared to Katowice in Blast, it wasn't like Donk just shitting on people throughout. Of course, he was the MVP. He had a great tournament, but it wasn't just dominating everyone so that no one else has to do anything. Actually, Zontix had a couple of really impactful maps in the grand final. Shiro got to do some work. Everyone had their moments. So
Shiro, that Dust 2 P250 round was fucking dirty. He just fucking bopping people. Yeah, it was some fun Counter-Strike to watch. I think it could have been an important victory for a lot of teams to finish off the season, right? That was the fun thing. There were so many teams that could have really done with a victory going into that event. And like for Vitality, it was their chance to get a trophy. For Spirit, obviously for them, as you just highlighted regarding the whole Katowice thing and then blipping off the radar of it, for Na'Vi, a chance to show some better form and try and hush the critics about for FaZe to have some success after so many events that they went into.
Did you think they did? Because
they played better.
They did look the best we've seen them since the major.
They played VP VP in the semifinal and got shot on by Spirit in the final.
I mean, I know. Yes. When I read Alexi's headline, we showed that we are capable again. I was like,
I don't think they did.
My head, and I was like, did you?
They did not.
I don't know. I think I agree with his overall sentiment.
And also, man, like JL having motivation issues. What the fuck did you do, bro? What?
But you won the major.
Oh, really? How?
Well, they beat the team.
Are you the best? Were you the best team in the world as it ended or before it started?
Man, look at Skadoodle. He won a major, then we never heard from him again.
Yeah, he just fucked off back to the farms. Good for him.
Yeah, and I think Trace quoted it as him saying he beat the game. That's the pinnacle.
He played for
winning
a
the
while.
Major, getting the MVP. Yeah, but regardless, you've won the major and you're the MVP of the major. That's what the goal is, right?
I know, Chad, but you get. I gave him one event off. Right? You have that whole thing.
He took a couple of extra events. It's all right.
Because JL can afford to do that. Bro, he's not him. He's not that guy.
I like how Yanko just became judge, jury, and execution. He had one fucking event. That's all he gets off. I mean,
I fucking hate. For this season, just fuck twistzz and fuck Kerrigan for what they did at the major. That's all there is to it. That ruined every conversation that we could possibly have. Those two, imagine a G2 FaZe grand final at the major. That would have been fucking sick. But no.
Yeah.
But no, twistzz had to not play his best map. Not at all. Not pick it, not have it as a third even. It was there for the taking as the decider map. We don't want that. Just been, 14-2 on that map since the major started. Lost it now to Vitality when m0NESY just sat at the PC and lost it to Liquid in Chengdu. Those are the two losses on Inferno for G2 since the major started. 3 wins or whatever with Stewie on the team. And then Kerrigan comes in, Kerrigan comes in fucking, oh yeah, also let's not play Nuke, our best map either, that we were 10-1, you know, or whatever the fuck. Yeah, let's just go for Ancient too.
Don't be sad, Jaco. Not everyone can do the things in a server that Stewie can pull off.
It's true.
That's true.
That's true, yeah.
He was so impactful.
G2, yeah.
I feel bad for Monacy with the whole issue around London, right? Because people genuinely look at that and go, "Oh, he had a shit performance." It's like on Reddit, "Oh, look at the first time Monacy had a negative performance."
I hate
and stuff.
that.
It's like, guys, he was fucking traveling, doing the best he could to get there without playing Counter-Strike for a couple of days. And I know that he tweeted at Blast saying, "I don't need warm-up, just delay it for 5 minutes." That's just because he wanted to play.
Yeah.
Right? Let's not critique
legendary.
the kid based off of that. Like, it just... The whole thing was G2 delivering what they deliver best, which is content, and it didn't go the way it could have been legendary, but it wasn't. It just like let's.
Bro,
let's call a spade a spade.
I tweeted at you like, if they somehow beat Spirit, I would have been out as well. I would have given up on Counter-Strike.
I can't believe they won.
I would just show up to desk and just like, I don't know, just do stand up, or I don't know. I would just talk about random shit because I would have been out.
How crazy is it they won a
if
map?
they won somehow without Monacy, Taz playing, like you have Taz, Hooksy, nexa on the team, and you fucking beat Spirit, I would have been fucking out. Luckily, it wasn't even close to happen.
Amazing.
But yeah, I think
pretty
I think
wild.
Vitality has massive issues. Actually, I think Vitality is in big trouble. Their results don't really show it.
Do you think they change though?
They have to change. They have to change.
But do you think they change?
I don't know.
Not do they have to. Do you think they will?
I think they will if they can get someone that's...
Well, they can't get twistzz.
Yeah, but if they can get someone like that, then they will change. Because this is the problem that they have. Spinks cannot lurk. Spinks is the happy of this generation. He has become that. His lurks are fucking...
Come on now.
What? Watch his lurks.
He's the happy.
Watch the final.
No one's as egregious as happy.
Watch the fucking final in Dallas and watch the semifinal here.
Yo, I know the round you're talking about as well. He's very inactive in his
He's
lurks.
doing
They're
fuck all, Chad. He's doing fuck all. He's just better off being with the pack at that point, right? Which is, he's just useless in those rounds. On the other side, he's very useful when he just trades kills and sprays people down and everything. So I'm not saying remove Spinks. I'm saying if you have the talk with him and you're not convinced that he can grow a pair in those games and do what he needs to do in his role, maybe he can be utilized in the pack. But then you have the problem, if the pack is Apex, Spinks, Zaiwo, you know, what do you do with Flamesy? Right? Like for these other players, it's different. I actually think on T side, Mezzy, I feel like he was an IGL. He did all these different things. I feel like he could pull off the lurk. Like he has good enough game sense to understand the timings and when he needs to try and play and when he needs to play slow, you know? So maybe that could work out for him, but there's just a complete like disconnect. And you see, I don't think like Apex is a type of a guy that's like, oh yes, I am good enough to play Yard. I think he's like, I don't trust anyone else on this team to play Yard the way it needs to be played, so that's why I'll do it. I don't think
we've mentioned this a few times.
Yeah, I don't think he thinks he's a better aimer than the other riflers on his team. But I think he understands. They don't either have the understanding of how to play the position, or they understand, but they don't have the balls to do it when it counts. And that's a problem that Apex doesn't have. So that's the issue with G2 is Apex, because he's the captain, but let's say the coach or whatever, like they don't trust the riflers, at least 2 out of the 3 of them, I don't know, to like do their job when it counts. Because you look how they play. CT side, a lot of it is just early aggression. Do things together. Why? Because he doesn't trust them if the round is being played by default to react, to know when to save their nades, when to use their nades, how to do this, how to do that. And obviously he can't be the whole round telling people on the other side of the map what to do. It's just impossible. And we've talked about this. I've said this 100 times. If you want to be the number 1 team in the world, if you want to win consistently, your game needs to be 70% default, at least. Maybe even a little bit more. Because it's impossible for you to get the reads all the time in freeze time with your aggression and with your moves and with all this shit. Like, you just need to sort of let the round develop a little bit and just react to what your opponents are doing. And I think that's the problem for Vitality. That's why they didn't win more tournaments.
I don't think they change. I think they stay with this.
I hope
I don't know
they
what they
don't
do
change.
I don't know what they do to fix it, because I definitely see some issues with them, but I don't know if they will address them correctly, because I think that maybe a few of these results towards the tail end of the season have been close. Maybe for them it feels like they've almost broken through and they just need to keep hustling. So I don't know how this
that's one of the deceptions where, like, yes, they were in the final here, the final there, semifinal, playoffs all this time, but in reality, they got spanked by Mouse 3-0. They lost to G2 with fucking Stewie that they already beat in the tournament previously. They got smashed on the 2 maps they lost by FaZe at the major. And also, I think the Spirit game wasn't... I can't remember how it went. It was a 2-1... Yeah, but it wasn't really like... It was 39-39 for Spirit, but it wasn't really... mega close. Like, it felt like Spirit was in control, right? So if you look at their placings, you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad. But the way those games that they ended up
they're losing to the other top teams,
especially because you look at Pro League, they smash FaZe, get revenge for the major. They beat Astralis, who was very good at the time, and then they just do nothing in the final. So it's also like in those key moments they fall apart, which is a completely different massive issue. All right, cool. What about...
I'm with you. Jason has something he wants to say.
It was just when you brought up, like, I don't know, this kind of brings us back to a discussion we had in Dallas that we might not want to go into again, but isn't this the whole point of being on a team of like five people and the coach, and you get to the end of a season and you say, we're doing really good, we have these deep placings, but these are the 3 areas that we have to highlight that we're struggling in, and let's have this conversation during the offseason about how we address these moving forward. Like, this is where I get to a team like Vitality, and I would almost hate to see this team make a roster change considering how much skill and talent they have on it. But this goes back into that conversation about, can't we look at it and say, all right, Spinks, can you learn this? Can you learn how to be a better lurker? Can we help teach you? Can we help develop your game in this sense? Or does it make more sense to shift Mezzi into this position and not immediately go to the roster change? You know, like that's where I would expect that this is what the team is for and the structure is for behind the team, to say, these are our areas of weakness. This is the areas we need to get better at if we want to be able to actually win some of these finals. So everyone get the fucking work.
Yes.
Like, let's discuss and find the solution.
Yes, Jason, but also Spinks has been on the team for what, 2 years? I think also you could see from Extaz, like, the loss of Magisk is the most underrated tier 1 player, and
he had
that
really
Vitality and Astralis team and everything. So they have the problem of the Spinks or Flamesy or Mezzi, they don't take enough initiative.
Don't take command of situations.
Exactly. And that's the problem that they have. And that's a difficult problem to solve because, yeah, I mean, absolutely what you said is an approach. It's probably the main approach you're going to take.
Do you think that they don't do it because they don't want fucking Apex to spaz out on them?
On who?
On anyone who makes a call that might turn out to be wrong. I guess that could be part of it. I don't...
Yeah, but you can't be a fucking bitch. Like, if that's what's bothering you, like, maybe you're not cut out for being on a team like that and doing that. Like, and also, sure, maybe the coach will say, hey, Dan, chill a little bit. Like, the guys try and give him a little bit of space to fucking be wrong before he can be right. No one was born with all the knowledge. Like, he needs to learn from his mistakes or whatnot. But you can't be intimidated by fucking Apex losing his shit. If anyway, you know how he is. He's going to lose his shit no matter what happens.
Also, surely at this point, Apex would be losing his shit more over the fact that no one else has taken command of a situation. That's kind of, but also, like, I would expect that is kind of an easy fix too, because wouldn't the first thing you do is go to Mezzi and be like, bro, you just in-game led Fnatic. Like, you have experience.
Why they got him though.
You have experience being vocal and being someone who has plans and comes up with solutions. Like, let's get this. We need you to start showing it here in this team.
Yeah, that's why I say he should be like, I don't know if they can change roles like that. The problem is, Jason, he's like the anchor on all of the maps. What can you do from fucking being B on vertical? And you're gonna that's the issue a little bit.
Pick your 2 rounds to be aggressive on stairs and look for a fast flank, I guess.
And also he is the newest addition, but it's been a while now. So those are probably all the conversations that they're gonna need to have in the off season if they don't The problem is, the patience is gonna. That's also that may or may not work as well, right? Like, you know how it is. Like, you guys have been on teams. Sometimes you have players who are just only good at doing like some specific thing. Like, they just don't have the capacity to evolve too much. They're really good at this thing that they're good at, but that's it. So either either they're useful to you doing that, or you replace them. Like, hoping that they're going to evolve into something more is just not happening, really.
I mean, I guess maybe they are leaning towards roster changes. They did inquire about twistzz, according to Richard. So maybe that's
twistzz for Mezzi would be good, but I don't think twistzz ain't going anywhere.
No, he ain't going anywhere. FaZe Richard even said FaZe inquired about twistzz. Who's FaZe looking at changing?
I don't know. Frozen.
Frozen?
Get him back. Well, look. The team's been less functional since I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass. The team's been less functional since Frozen joined. I think there's too many baity boys, man. Too many baity boys now. Not enough doers.
Not enough doers. It's always a problem.
It's one of life's biggest dramas.
Like, that's what I was going to say. For FaZe, it's a bit more difficult to put the finger on what the issue is, because also until the last 3 tournaments, they were like in the final of every tournament. So you're like, well, nothing wrong with FaZe, just can't win that last game.
But who did they lose to again to get knocked out? Vitality, right?
Yes. They lost to Navi before that in the match to get to the semi.
Yeah, and I was saying at the time to people in the Discord, like, it's difficult to measure a match like this because it's a seeding game. But then their reactions after the game, they looked pretty cut up about it. So I think that you have to take that one as they were giving it their all.
They were 7-0 up as CT on Mirage, and then they lost 13-3 from that point on. Like,
yeah, which is insane.
With winning the T pistol, they won the T pistol, they converted, and then they lost 8-1 from that point on. Like,
it's a bad loss.
Yeah, that's a gross loss.
Yeah, but I don't know how you restart FaZe, because you've come so close, but so far they obviously played a lot of games because they were in a lot of finals. So the further you go in events, the more matches that you're going to be playing. So this is the thing. You could make discussions of, should they make a roster change, but then where would you even start? And everyone is going to do the classic brain dead thing of, well, they need to replace Rain. He's old. It's like, well, come on, guys. Are you even watching what Rain does as a player? So I don't know. Maybe they don't need to do anything. Maybe it is just a bit of rest, relaxation that is required, and then get back with a fresh set of eyes going into the next season and being able to peak for the end of the season with the Shanghai Major.
Rain was mentioning, he gave that interview that said they were starting to feel a little counter-stratted, a little bit red, a little bit out of date.
Yeah, and maybe there was a little bit lacking in their playbook. There was definitely holes within their game with the addition of Frozen, like with some of the setups. I remember the top site on Nuke was pretty weak with him playing over there. It didn't look like it. A lot of things don't look as cohesive. And it doesn't feel like they're having those crazy X-Factor game-changing moments as much, but it's hard to quantify how you go about getting those. You kind of need your players to be in form. But what the major cutoff, right, for the RMRs, that news we haven't discussed yet, have we?
Wait, let me just finish this about FaZe. I think problem is like, I think it's like a 5% from a couple of different sides. Like, I think individuals a little bit, you're not getting as much from ROPS as you're used to, I feel like, Same from, obviously, I think Kerrigan would have liked to have called and been prepared or had a deeper playbook just a little bit more, right? And I think you add a couple of these different things together and you get those like just missing out just by a small margin. I also think if fucking Kerrigan doesn't overthink it in the fucking major final and they win the major, it's a completely different team that you have with FaZe. I think that's really haunting because for them, Navi is like not a team that they're okay losing to in a major final. I think that's probably we're going to look back at it and be like, this is just Cloud9 Boston sort of a thing happening, even though Navi wasn't as big of an underdog. But it's like this game where they weren't really supposed to come out on top, but they were the better team on the day and came out on top. But that's it. Like, they didn't go on to do anything more since then.
I was just going to say, I didn't want to transition too far away. We can now, though, I guess. But I was going to say, because of the cutoff for the RMRs being before Cologne, so I guess the blast groups will be the last event that might have any impact on it. Then we'll know quite quickly who the teams are going to be locked in for the RMRs, right? So there'll be 16 teams locked in for the RMRs, and then what'll it be, like 42 teams or something like that for the is it 42? Is it 48? Whatever it is, there'll be a large chunk of teams for the closed qualifiers for the European side of things. So I think teams like FaZe are fine in the set. Like, the point I'm trying to make is teams going into this next season are going to need to be a whole lot more strategical than they've ever been in terms of peaking. So early on in the season, you're going to go, they're all going to be at the Esports World Cup. Then they're going to have the blast groups. Then they're going to have Cologne. So that's going to be the first event that has of any real measure, right? It's going to be Cologne. Then after that, everything in between is whatever, right? Until you get to the RMRs. And the RMRs is only going to be 1 week or 2 weeks before the major. That's how close it is. So it's all just going to flow into each other one after the other. So the idea for these teams, I suppose, in the middle of the year is not to coast, but it's also not to fucking go giga hard. You're going to have to take a breath, right? And be able to not get to the end of the year and be like, oh, we're burnt out and all this type of stuff. You need to make sure that you can peak.
So can we just all fucking agree on how absolutely ridiculous it is that the cutoff point for the RMRs is 4 months before they happen? Actually, August, September, October, 3 months, 3.5 months almost before they actually play out.
Yes, it is kind of crazy.
That is insane. And that the qualifiers are played only a couple of weeks after that.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that's so early. I haven't really looked at the calendar to see.
People have told me that it's because of visas, I've said it doesn't take 3 months to get a fucking visa, bro. Even for China, like, I don't know, like, because people say, Jason, it didn't take you that long, because people say the US, right, or like NA or anything, but it doesn't take that much.
I mean, I got my Chinese visa, I think, over like within a week, a couple business days. But I know in the States that the Chinese embassy and the process is a little weird, where you have to go to like the closest Chinese embassy to your home. So like I tried to get a Chinese embassy conveniently when I was out in California for another event, but the closest Chinese embassy to me at my home is in New York. So I had to turn down the event, go home, and go out to New York a little bit later and get a Chinese visa there. But that's, I mean, still, with that knowledge, it shouldn't take that many months in my mind. I guess I don't really know the visa process of every country, obviously. Maybe
so it's like, and then I even had, Simon tweet to me, who was a producer at TSL, it took whatever, like it took 3 months for him to get like a US, or I don't even know what visa it was. It's like, man, like some of these edge cases, like I don't really care about that. Like if anyone who's from EU, if they can get it within a couple of weeks, NA can get it, Brazil can definitely fucking get it, we're fine, like that's okay. It doesn't have to be that long. And then if it does, then actually we shouldn't be fucking holding the tournament there, because it's ridiculous. That's the
I guess the question too would be: do you need a visa for the RMRs and then a visa if you return again?
But this is the problem, right? This is. I
think you would be able to get like a.
I got a 10-year visa for unlimited.
I can only get single entry because I have a British passport, right? And I have to apply in Malta on the passport that I'm a resident in this country in, and I'm a resident in Malta on my British passport, not my Australian. So I applied for, and the embassy in Malta is only open 2 days a week, and it is only open from like 7 a.m. until like midday, and that's it for the 2 days a week it's open. And they will only issue me a single entry because I am applying in a country that I'm not a citizen, only a resident. So I don't know,
Chad,
what type of
effect I love you,
will have in other
but
places.
You're an outlier. Like that's not.
Oh no, I consider that for sure. Yeah.
Like for the majority, for the teams that are going to be attending the RMRs and all of this shit, like I feel like there's very few cases, like if any cases like that. I'm just talking about the big picture stuff, because it's crazy for a multiple of reasons. First of all, the cutoff point being so early fucks with every single team that wants to make changes. Like, you really need to take into account, okay, not maybe every single team, because let's say G2 makes one change. There's still going to be at the RMR, I imagine, but...
Yeah, it won't affect their ranking
that much. It still fucks with
that
their
much.
seeding, which, it's not like the least important thing in the world. Like, you don't want that to happen if you're G2 or if you're Vitality and Liquid or whoever, right? Like, you want to have a couple of months with this team and then see where you're at and be seeded based off of that, which I think is reasonable. So it fucks with that. It fucks with a lot of teams who are, the tier 3 teams that are hoping to get a spot in the closed qualifier, because they're doing that. First of all, they had no idea there's not going to be open qualifiers. Like, that's the first thing. This is the first time there's no open qualifiers. Then you have that, and now the cutoff point is so early that you don't have any tournaments to play in to get points, to get into the closed qualifier.
Yeah,
if it were in October, then at least you would have like a couple of online tournaments, a couple of qualifiers for something. Let's say maybe you would have a qualifier for IEM Rio, and maybe you would be able to qualify for that, and that would be a big deal. That would guarantee you a spot at the closed qualifier for the RMR, maybe even at the RMR itself. Who knows, right? Like, there's so many things that got fucked by this. And you're trying to tell me that Perfect World did it because so that people would have enough time for fucking visas. Like, I don't believe that. I don't buy that.
Do you reckon it's a Perfect World thing, or do you think it's a Valve thing?
Why would Valve do it? Why would Valve tell them to do it then?
I don't know.
What do they get out of it? Like, I don't...
But
I think it just...
It could
I
be
don't
one
know.
or the
That's
other,
the
right?
problem, Chad. If you know me at all, the thing that fucks me the most is fucking shit that I can't wrap my head around. Like, why? That's what I want to know. Like, why? Give me a statement, Perfect World, and tell me, oh yeah, it's then because actually the visa process is more difficult nowadays for China, blah, blah, blah. Give me some bullshit thing that I can still be mad about, but at least say, well, that's why they did it. Now I have no idea. No matter how it's always going to be hard to fit in a close qualifier, right? But when there's other tournaments around, but also it's going to take priority over other shit. So you can do it where
what if
it crosses with like the playoffs of Rio and then, the week after, I think in October, right? Like second, third week of October, do it then. And you're still...
What if it was partially pushed for by the teams who said, we don't need like 2 months to get a Chinese visa, but with this packed schedule, it will take a long time to find like an appropriate window to get the visas. Would that make you feel any better? Like, what if they just said, we're playing like 6-7 events?
Because
we really have a week off here and
that
there.
That applies for the teams that are at the RMR already. Because those are the teams that go to tier 1 tournaments and travel. These teams that are in the closed qualifier are the ones who don't play as many LANs. Yeah. They mostly stick to online play. I think it's just so fucked, man. I hate it. I hate the timing.
Okay, but
the timing of it, like the when the qualifiers are, but I love the change, in its own right. Like I mean love. I don't mind. I like it that okay.
You said
guys first
October,
give the thoughts on this, then we'll
is...
get into that. I was going to say, I like the fact that one tournament doesn't decide everything and it takes like shit into account, and your performance over the season matters more than just a one-off performance.
You said your like ideal window is like the early October, so that'd be like 2 months before the major, essentially.
Like post Rio. Like you can even start the qualifiers during the playoffs of Rio or whatever. I think even during Rio, because none of the close qualifier teams are going to be there. I don't imagine it's how many 10 EU teams. All these teams are going to be at the RMR, I imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. It does. I don't know. Maybe it should bother me more. It doesn't really bother me. I think it does suck, but again, it doesn't bother me. And I don't know. Is this just
Why doesn't it bother you, Jason?
Is this just some is this just some area of growing pain that we're gonna have to deal with as we transition into like a new system? Is this just something that is just kind of like, yep, we're gonna have to be. This is just gonna have to suck for one major, and then we'll get on track for next year.
I hope it's not like this next year, right? That's my hope.
Really? When we go into the fucking United States of America, how difficult is it going to be for Chinese people, for Russian people to get visas for that tournament?
I would hope moving forward that the cutoff point would be just like the major, probably like announce very, very early on heads up, right? Like I would want this announcement to come out for the cutoff point for the next major. I feel like should be coming out.
Yeah, Jason, but that's also
soon.
shit. Why? Because let's say it's the same for next year. Let's say that, right? It's 3 months before.
3 months in advance?
Yes, let's say it's 3 months in advance. What happens to all the tournaments in between?
I mean,
like Chad just talked about.
They're just used for the follow-up major.
No, but the thing is, those tournaments get diluted in terms of how teams want to perform at them because you're already qualified for the major, right? So
sure.
You
qualified
can go
for the major, qualified for the RMR.
Qualified for the RMR, right? So your performance within that season doesn't even really matter that much. Obviously, it'll only affect you if you fuck up at the RMR/major and then you don't get enough points to qualify for the next one. But I just hope it doesn't degrade the quality of Counter-Strike. But maybe that's impossible to ignore. I don't know.
I think.
I think
now
more than anything, I see these as like problems that are popping up as we're changing the way we qualify for the major,
yeah,
and
for
changing
sure.
the structure. And these issues are going to pop up. So in my head, it's like there's no point in getting pissed off about them now because this is all information that we need to make them better for the future.
Yeah, but that's ass. But while Chad was saying what he was saying, I understood this is actually a great opportunity for TOs to
experiment?
like what Blast did with their thing to incentivize teams and create storylines around just their circuit, right? ESL already has it with the Grand Slam, but they need more than that because then that's what incentivizes teams post-close qualifiers before the RMR, right? You're like, if you're whoever, fucking Mouse, and like, we're at the RMR, whatever, and there's still 2 months to go, so it doesn't really matter. We'll have time to do this, to do that. Yeah, but all of a sudden now you have these Blast tokens for the frequent flyer fucking bullshit, and then you have the participation fees and all this other shit. So you're like, well, actually, if we do at least attend all these tournaments, we get something, right? You get a lot from just attending all these tournaments. And then you can just treat them how the fuck you want to treat them, right? But obviously, that opens opportunity for PGL, for ESL to also come up with something where it's like, actually, what they should do is come up with something a little bit more performance-based, where either make the prize pool a lot more top-heavy, add more incentives for doing well at the tournaments, and something along those lines, right? Because then that's what will help teams. That's what teams will decide on when they pick tournaments, and how are they going to approach them. Because, bro, Chad, we were just here. We spent so many years trying to get to the majors, being at the end of the fucking season. So we don't have these 2 or 3 events post-major where we're just like, well, we're just waiting for the roster to change.
Yeah,
this team is dead. That team is dead.
Yeah.
Now we have it the other way around. Now it's like, well, they don't care. They're just waiting for the fucking RMR. Like everything's decided. Like that's the...
Yeah, I think that's... The framing, though, might have to be slightly different, Yanko, in the sense of like, okay, well, these guys... no, you're right. But that's the thing. How early... This is what we discussed before, right? Before the RMR... Depending on the type of country that we're talking about, it can't be based on that. It can't be based on, this country's harder to get a visa to. I think you're right. I think you're bang on. I think we should then prioritize countries where it isn't going to be an issue to get a visa for the majority of the people attending, because then if we have to compromise the entire circuit because we need to get visas earlier, then that's just stupid. That completely undermines everything we're doing, doesn't it? So yeah, I see your anguish, Yanko. I definitely see it.
I think
I just don't get mad about things anymore.
I mean, the reason why it's also not making me mad at is like that we also all know the people making these decisions and these pitches aren't gonna like they're not gonna consider that. That's not gonna be a consideration.
But here's a way that we...
If you say, but it should be, I'm gonna cry.
No. I think, Chad, you were on point with this like a couple of months back. When we talked about this, you said, I think, it just RMRs, and then there's like a week in between where there's nothing, and then the major starts. That's the way you could do it. So the way you do it is you hold the close qualifiers like a month and a half, maybe like 5-6 weeks before the RMR, right? That's when you have all your teams. Then you get the visa, and then you only need the visa for that one stay, let's say, right? Because
yeah, you'd stay the whole time.
You'd stay the whole time, right?
But isn't that what's going to happen with this major? Like, aren't the teams going to be there so close that they'll probably just stay?
They should, not all, because some RMRs are like Asia, for example, ends 20 days before the major.
Also, they might have frequent flyer rewards to collect.
Yeah, but the European RMR
next year.
Perfect World Shanghai Major RMR Group A finishes on the 20th of November, and Group B finishes on the 24th, and then the major starts on the 30th. That's only 6 days.
No, the opening stage. Oh, no, this is RMRB is 24th. Oh yeah, you're right, 30th. Yeah. Obviously they'll stay. There's no way you're going.
So
back.
the Euros,
except for the ones
that
have to play the ESL Challenger Katowice.
Yes, but the Americas and the Asias are going to have a tougher time. So the thing is, if I was the TO, to avoid any fuckery, I would probably be wanting everybody to stay the entire time. And if they can provide the facilities for the teams to be able to practice within themselves. So let's say that you're the America teams, you're only going to have to wait you won't have to wait at all. The European teams will arrive, and then the teams who qualified from the Americas could stay for a week in China and boot camp against all of the European and Asian teams that are, yeah?
No, I love it, but you know where we're going with this. Where we're ending, actually.
Where are we ending?
We're coming back full circle to your days, to the walk seminar days. We're coming back to just having close qualifiers for regions online, and then everyone coming and all the teams being in one pool together, and teams qualifying.
I was just talking about practicing, but we're never going to get there. We're never going to get there because they want to.
We can if we get the top 8 Valve ranking teams to the major immediately, and then 16 others go.
No, but the reason I say we're never going to get there is because they want the regional representation at the major. They're happy to stomach having some teams which aren't of the same caliber at the major because it's more
they want to promote
globally.
Every region.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, then
and also, yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to say, then even make a couple of slots for those teams available to be invited immediately, and then everyone else goes to the same qualifier together.
But why don't we just keep having the money trickle down, and then eventually one of the teams will get their act together, aka the Mongols, and actually be a good Counter-Strike team?
Yeah, trickle-down economic works. Just ask America.
I'm just saying, for logistics-wise, it would be easier because then the whole tournament the whole tournament could be shorter. And also, aren't we thinking next year there won't be any RMRs anyway? Isn't that what we were saying?
That's the general thought process.
Yeah, but wouldn't that solve all of this problem if there are no RMRs next year?
Yes. Yep. Then we would only
need a cutoff.
Then we would only have this one problem with the cutoff. Yes, and then every tournament.
So we're getting our panties in a twist over nothing. It's all gonna be fine.
Yeah, but
I got something you can get your panties in a twist over.
What?
Complexity 1 ESL Jonkoping.
Fuck's sake! It's time to finish.
No, I have one other thing that's actually.
You got to give something. They want an event. You got to give them a little bit of love. No.
I want to hear what Yanko has to say. I don't want to talk about Jonkoping or Fire League.
Fire League. That was actually happening.
Well, hey, just congratulations to Complexity. That's a nice confidence-boosting trophy to win right at the end of the season.
Yeah, still maybe making some changes. Hopefully, maybe not. Who knows? No one cares.
How's
Astralis, Chad? Where's your best team in the world now?
I look. They haven't really got their act together just yet. I don't know what they're cooking, but maybe they left the stove on, right? They just left it on like a 1 or a 2 and it's just simmering right now, and they've had to run down the shops because they're missing some kind of key ingredient and they got to come back and start cooking because I'm not sure. Like I don't know. There's something missing. I would need to get a fine-tooth comb out and look much more in detail about what is lacking. Because the only team that they beat in the spring finals was Saw, and they dispatched them very easily. That wasn't even really a match, but they lost to Navi and they lost to VP. And those are teams that I think that they should at least be taking a map off of. I don't think they should be losing 2-0 in those respects to those teams. So I don't know.
I'm telling you,
I really don't know.
That's the problem. Like, people were hyped. I told you, they're the most horniest team at the time.
They're still horny now. They want to fuck.
No, but they can't. They can't get it up, Chad. It just they
Oh no!
they had too
Blues
much.
Chews.
They had
New
too much
sponsor
to
of the
drink.
show.
They got that whiskey dick going on. No, I think the problem
Jesus
is what we
Christ.
figured out. First thing we figured out is their shit on Mirage, which they just didn't play initially in their first like 1 or 2 tournaments. They're not good on Mirage, and now Overpass is gone. Dust 2 is in. Couldn't get. They already lost it a couple of times, so that's going to be something they're going to have to work on. And also probably once, a couple of tournaments passed and people had some data
Tape.
on device, they figured out, okay, this is what he likes to do. So now it's an adjustment period for him to understand this game of cat and mouse, right, in calling and what to do and how to be more difficult to read maybe and all this sort of a thing, which I think he'll be capable of doing, but I think the team was definitely a little bit overhyped initially.
Well, what did they manage? 3rd, 4th at all the events other than this one where they went 5th, 6th?
Yeah, out of
right?
8.
And the only team they beat was Saw. So, this is quite a poor end to the season.
I think it's just a lull outside of the kind of initial period of device taking over in the team.
But they haven't broken through yet, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They were hovering at the same point, right? And they were playing decent Counter-Strike. But then some of the games that they would lose, it would be like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, there would be no teamwork. There'd be no trading. It just would be very individual. And it didn't look good at all. But then sometimes it'd be like, oh, yeah, this looks really nice. I like the ideas. They're running with the momentum. That's the thing. I don't think they can be a momentum-based team. That they need to make sure that their game is more complete, and I think that they're probably lacking a whole lot of that right now. So I don't know how it looks for them coming out the other side, but yeah, they're not where they need to be.
Also,
no cause for panic though, right? Like no one's panicking.
no.
No,
It's
I don't
fine.
think they
They're
need to do
just
anything. Just keep cracking.
people were saying, oh, maybe they're the best team in the world. We just don't know it. It's like, hey, let's
Yeah, it might have
relax
been a bit
little
early for that.
And also, how does your Saw taste now? Another team that was like
Yeah, they look
super
pretty
over.
mid.
It's like, I don't know why people were like losing their minds so much because of how they did at the RMR, bro, where they paid NIP and a couple of other shit teams that they...
It's easy when you're an underdog team.
dominated them, but sure, they didn't play anyone good in like a best of 3 on LAN where you could say like, oh yeah, this team is actually sick. And I'm saying this, and I'm pulling for these guys, man. I said this, like I've played against Roman and Mutiris, more than 10 years ago. So props to them. Like I'm in their corner, but it's just like this thing where people were trying to say, oh yeah, they're going to be insane, they're so good. And then they did good at the showdown as well, right?
They had a good 2 weeks. They qualified for the major and they did good at the showdown.
Yeah, which got them to the finals, but I mean that was like people just overreacting, and they've also gotten humbled in the second part of the season, so hopefully they can figure it out during the break. I think Barry is really good. It's obviously weird because they play in Portuguese and they talk to him in English, right? But I think he in his interview even said, there's a lot of things that is easy to learn and whatnot, blah blah blah. So hopefully during the break they can sort it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Feels like a happy place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
Well,
Goodbye, everybody.
big gulps, huh?
Bye.